ready. I ain't fucking with them busters, I ain't fucking with them bluffing ass, nothing ass motherfuckers neither. So when you catch me at the show, this shit ain't just for show. So I gave my nigga Lou the Desert Eagle. Then it's right back on the grind. I hustle till I shine. I don't hear no fear, no evil. Make 40 off a dime, waiting some other time, but the people try to tell me it's illegal.
Am I my brother's keeper? Hell nah. Dig ditches, put you bitches in a sleeper. When you see us, keep it moving like the meter. We off the meat. Meet me at the meeting to miss your beat while I'm riding off, smelling like Sunny D. Imperial like the pyramid. As I push the pen again, my experiences appearing Shakespearean. So passes with no interference when I send them in. If you mention him, then you mention in the syndicate. The inventor of that vintage lit. You know who get the busiest? Sawbucks, double nickel, 55th. Look, I'm a businessman. I can't let these busybodies hear me in. Hence, simply put, I put an end to them. You won't risky, come with me. It's done quickly. This is Chi-Town, Joe. The bros and the folks with me. Home of Towel, Cokes and 150s. Deep joints, cush jabs, corrupt politicians that run the city.
I ain't fucking with them busters, I ain't fucking with them bluffing ass, nothing ass motherfuckers neither. So when you catch me at the show, this shit ain't just for show. So I gave my nigga Lou the Desert Eagle. Then it's right back on the grind. I hustle till I shine. I don't hear no fear, no evil. Make 40 off a dime, waiting some other time, but the people try to tell me it's illegal. The homies saying fuck y'all, I just wanna live good, but they know I'm still down, so they know I'm still hood. Standing in the sand with the water, but it's still mud. I ain't heard from Sly in a while, but we still blood. Got locked, came out on papers, he still plugged. Northside nigga show me definition, real thug. Southside nigga show the little nigga real love. Family out in California, crippin', man, they real cuz. Homie said gon' kill the hood, gon' kill the verse. You done killed the competition, go ahead, kill the hearse, and then kill the first. New nigga who figured that he can do your worst. So I murdered everything, set him in the church. The last a fly nigga. When you get down in the hill, tell him I say hi nigga. With them goofies and them other gay bye niggas. When you lower in the ground, I'm yelling bye nigga. I ain't fucking with them busters, I ain't fucking with them bluffing ass, nothing ass motherfuckers neither. So when you catch me at the show, this shit ain't just for show. So I gave my nigga Lou the Desert Eagle.
WIFTBPN. I think that the black community is starting to realize the mayor may not necessarily be an ally just because she is black.
Live from What's in It for the Black Media Studio.
Our representatives don't necessarily.
Crazy how life is a stage. Basically, I was raised in these mazes, named the streets for players of reputations. Faithfully make G's with more cake pastries than bakeries. Deal with equations ranging from A to Z. Touch more bricks than masons, serving like maitre d's. Pitching like we in the major leagues. Occasionally blazing bees, seeking that painful peace amongst a parade of fiends afraid to sleep. Dazed and deranged, losing days of Z's. That's why my old girl prayed for me every day, cause I'm faded like tapers at the table, G. I can't take it, I can't wait to escape and leave, cause this basement is no place to stay for me. But I believe I'm the creator, I create the scenes that can't be seen just by the way I think and breathe. Time and the place in this game of life when you gotta decide your fate or pay the price. Let the voice inside you guide you. My main advice is never change your life, just change your life. There comes a time and a place in this game of life when you gotta decide your fate or pay the price. Let the voice inside you guide you. My main advice is never change your life, just change your life. In high school she was average, mostly C's and D's. Same shit, now she high too, mostly off C and D. Now I have my loot clothes, CDs and DVDs. Easily these things could leave, cause she a sneaky thief, trust me. Always fussing, starting shit, I hear her arguments with the mirror regarding her appearance, her health declines thusly. First her mind, then abruptly she finds herself mumbling all the time to herself, trying to find herself by dealers that sell. Insecure, still in a shell, killing herself. And as long as she been blowing, it never seems to soak in. When she has convulsion, shivering like she cold, and my cousins ask me where they moms be. I'ma tell her my auntie on the concrete, walking dead like zombies. There comes a time and a place in this game of life when you gotta decide your fate or pay the just change your life. There comes a time and a place in this game of life when you gotta decide your fate or pay the price. Let the voice inside you guide you. My main advice, you gotta change your life, just change your life. I've been debating on rearranging my life. I'm at a different stage of the game in my life. This is why I listen when I'm praying at night for answers to the questions that I'm stressing to fight. Lord knows the fortune is a goal, but I'm not forcing my soul to be sold between the forks in the road in order to blow. What can I leave beside my corpse when I'm gone? And my CDs with assortments of songs. The course I chose to school me was these cruel streets, and it used to fool me till I learned how to do me. Take a look, see at how the hood eat, misunderstood by crooks, thieves, good green and cooks. See, I'ma tell you how it should be. The great leaders empower the people so they can see through the powers that be. But instead they carry on like cowards to me, abuse their power to speak while these streets devour the weak. I was told that the soul creates and the mind reacts. I chose my fate, ain't no rewinding me back. Every day's a gift from God, that's why it's called a present. If you believe, you receive and see all the blessings. There comes a time and a place in this game of life when you gotta decide your fate or pay the price. Let the voice inside you guide you. My main advice, you gotta change your life, just change your life. There comes a time and a place in this game of life when you gotta decide your fate or pay the price. Let the voice inside you guide you. My main advice, you gotta change your life, just change your life.
Monkey, keep it funky, aight?
For Ruthie Moore, for Ty Stroger, I am the host of the
Take notice, the Entourage DJs are taking over the game.
The Midwest invasion is here, and the true Midwest mixtape king is giving it to you. It's DJ G-Spot. As I take a sip of this fifth that makes me shiver, you could probably sail a ship on this river full of liquor. We stay afloat where hope drowns in addictions, a potent mixture. This is the picture that depicts us. We live it up, giving what we were given, gave our all, refused to give in or give up, willing to risk it all. Gee, we lived on a tip drunk, dug deep in the trenches, shit, we knew what the risk was. But of course, again, it's the same story when shots fired in the alley hit shorty valedictorian. Where's the support for him, the less fortunate, another life lost, another day in court again. 20 years for the defendant for any sort of grin. Ward of the state, he was raised in the orphanage. To where it all began, the source of it. Empty cupboards, floorboards, no money for the store again. That's all he knows.
Just where I come from, all of what I've learned, most of what I've done, I owe it all to the people that I love. I hope you're proud of me wherever I go. I'm from.
It's all political. What you tripping for? The richest ones get riches from the rituals. On the tip with hype, tippy toe. For a fix a blow, getting dope. Running every type of give and go. No Philip Drummond in these different strokes. Where we come up on these risky roads. Pray for a pot to piss in for the kitchen stove. Criminal capers just to get us on. Bagging up the same order that gets us gone. Thinking maybe one day we may hit that goal. Until then I'm outside until I flip this soul. Grabbing fingers from the sick go on Cicero. I see a visual of them people frisking, bro. Stretched out by a shorty with a grimace on. Sometimes it ain't even the money, it's the principle. Can tell you why we died, but what are we living for?
This is my city, just where I come from. All of what I've learned, most of what I've done, I owe it all to the people that I love. I hope you're proud of me wherever I go. I'm from. I'm from. I go where I'm from.
WIFTBPM.
Live from What's in It for the Black Media Studio. You're listening to The Bigs with Eugene McIntosh and Terrence Tomlin.
Let's begin now.
Happy Monday, everybody. You know what the song means. It means it's time to get back down on the soil, and you are officially rocking with the Bigs. I'm your man, T-Time, coming to you as usual with my player partner, Eugene McIntosh. How you feeling, bro?
What's the Benoski?
It's all good, man. Enjoying this beautiful day. I seen black people outside riding bikes and stuff, so I'm feeling kind of good.
I told you, I already know. I can tell what the temperature is just by riding down. When I see the multitude standing in front of the liquor store early a.m., I know it's about to crack, man. So I ain't even got to look at the weather, bro. I know when I see the members standing in front of that liquor store, I know it's 60 plus. So just came outside, the sun was shining. Like you said, I see white people in the neighborhood walking their dogs, riding their bikes, just mingling, like just no care in the world. On 40 in the 40s in Indiana, like, hey, brother.
I seen them picnicking with the blankets on the
5 years, I'm out of there. I'm trying to make about $40K on that crib.
I heard that.
White people want their area back, man.
Gino, how was your weekend, bro?
Man, it was all good, man. I can't complain, man. March Madness kicked up. I know we got a lot to talk about. Yeah, somebody
madness.
On the other side of the window is over there fuming. I see the smoke coming from his ears.
Shout out to Maze. Holding it down.
What up,
for
man?
us today.
Lil Ron took his management day off, right? He like, don't I got some benefits?
On the real,
Let me use them days.
He like, let me use them days.
He accumulated 13 hours in his first 2 weeks as manager. So he took
8 of them.
Yeah, he used his first 8.
Where's Herb when you need him, man?
I swear, man.
Shoot, I need. Look, man. Look, now I got the assistant general manager, and then Ron is the assistant to the assistant general manager, and he asking for days off already, man.
So who the assistant pimp, Ron or
no? Herb is the man,
okay.
And then Herb is the man, and then Lil Ron is like the little man,
okay.
Right? So it's like Herb is like big bro, Lil Ron is like little bro, but Lil Ron don't quite got the whole idea of management yet. It's like he want management benefits with he want employee benefits with management title. So he be like, hey man, can I get overtime? Dog, you management now.
You on salary.
Dog. You on salary. So, and y'all know, send up a big prayer because on Mondays even Lil Ron wouldn't even be here. Sonia Esco, sending love to her and her family as she continues to heal.
Absolutely.
From the loss.
Definitely sending love to Esco, wrapping my arms around you, Esco.
Hey, man, and can I tell y'all, I ain't gonna even lie, I have been, excited is not the word, but I have been waiting since yesterday at 2 o'clock with bated breath. Me and Ty couldn't even get into it.
I saw
this
it.
morning. I lost
you
myself.
Left it alone.
I said I gotta wait for the bigs to get here because I just gotta tell y'all, man. I was watching that Illinois game. First of all, I didn't want to see him on the schedule. I mean, I did not want to see Loyola. But the other part was, man, I just felt like, especially after listening to y'all show last week, I was like, this was the Chicago way, man. The streets, somebody in Chicago said, I'm just saying. Now, if it's me and I'm plugged, right? I'm plugged. Now, we at a home where NBA players get put in the trunk, right? People be going up in their house where the best ballers be on the court balling with the biggest guys from the street, betting thousands of dollars on games, and you trying to tell me that the University of Illinois D1 AP Player of the Year, coldest squad, the most quad one wins in the whole joint, Man, and respect to the Fighting Illini because I went to U of I, and respect to the team that gave us all this love, all this time, and all this joy and satisfaction. But something in me something in me from Chicago said when that happened. This is the home of the Black Sox, man. I was like, somebody said everybody got Illinois at least going to the Final Four. And if I could interrupt this bad boy right here, what's my takeaway? I feel like Big Mike might have had something to do with that.
Damn,
where he be getting, man, I'm just saying, this is the town where people get put in the trunk, right? Where you could be eating dinner, eating lunch after a late night, and brothers roll up on you, be like, where you going? We going to your house.
Yeah, come on.
Make
it easy.
Something just did. And when I saw the white boy steal the ball from AO twice, 3 times.
3 times.
It just can't go away. It just won't go away. Now, I'm going to leave it alone because I got much respect for everybody involved. But I do say, it wouldn't be radio if we didn't talk about it a little bit. It wouldn't be Chicago. It wouldn't be right if we didn't just touch on. Gino, you know the streets, man.
Oh, that element is always in place, man. Like never look past that. You can never glance over the street politics of Chicago at all levels. Like the streets run Chicago at all levels. So I wouldn't put that past you, Maze. But I'm going to really just go out on a limb and say the obvious.
You go,
Brad Underwood, Bill
Self.
Self.
First of all, Gino, you're not the one out on a limb. I think Maze is totally the one.
Right.
Yeah,
and I'm saying it like, I hope ain't nobody listening. Right? I hope ain't the right people ain't listening.
Yeah, they like, oh, Maze Jackson. Okay. the dude with the wicked whip outside. Okay. And I saw you this weekend, man. Saw you strolling down. After I saw you, I caught him lacking this weekend.
On Taylor.
Then I caught you lacking.
What?
I could have clipped both of y'all.
What?
On Roosevelt. It may have been about, what time was that?
It was like 3:30, 4 o'clock.
It may have been 5 because after I saw you, I was chilling. I chilled with Darnell for about an hour.
You saw me on Roosevelt because I was dropping off the $100 hollers.
Okay.
Dropping off the $100 hollers. I was over there on Brian. I went to Brian Hudson.
Okay.
Yep. I went over to Brian Hudson, dropped him off $100 holler, and I was sitting in the car.
Saw you slide down Roosevelt. I'm like, man, I should.
I say I got to give me, I'm going to have to give me an undercover. But I was rolling the Batmobile.
I saw it.
I washed it up and was like,
sticking out. Yeah, you look good, man.
But let me tell you, I just want before you wouldn't have caught me slipping though. Because I'm going to tell you, every time I be sitting in the car, just like with my hand on it.
Okay.
And I be like, I promise you,
if I
somebody
get an inkling.
You're going to be like, that's a pretty big hole. I'm going to be like, that's a 45. Like, that bad boy, that's the short handle 45, palm size 45. So you're going to be looking in that hole, and you're going to be like.
The hand cannon.
Right. When that bad boy, you'll be like, Adoom. Right. So, come on. That's why I don't even tint the windows. I want you to look. I want you to have a clear view when you come walking up to the car, what you finna feel, what you about to run up on. Yeah. So I'm through.
You gonna say I was lacking? Like I knew exactly what car you was in.
You did. I pulled up. I'm like,
that's Gino.
Man?
Look at Gino in the foreign, right?
Yeah,
Gino, German Gino.
It was clean in the mug. I will say that. I saw my reflection on it. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I'm rolling around seeing my guys out there on Saturday. But man, let's look here, man.
Let's see, can I say? Let me say, Go ahead. I would feel you because I was salty in the middle of watching that. But then everything that happened after that kind of like aligned with it. Every top seed was getting dealt with.
That's the only thing that saved it for me, but I still feel like it was a slippery slope, and I just can't let the Chicago way get out my head.
They got beat down for what, 40 minutes?
They never had the lead. They never had the lead, and that essentially to me is what made me, like, I just felt like there was no aggression in that game at all. Like, it was, everything was passive, and I just felt like I kept waiting for AO to just be like, okay, give me the ball. And it was kind of like, he didn't even want the ball. He'd be like, pass it over there. And I was just like, man, Joe, this feel like UNLV. If I see anybody in a hot tub,
I hate that shit making me like rethink.
If I see any, I mean, I'm just saying like this.
I'm sitting here running it back like, damn, they was so packed.
I mean,
no sense of urgency.
There was, I mean, dog, you knew when they was coming out the halftime.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's a couple guys.
Down 8.
Yeah, I feel like a couple guys wasn't in. right? Like I feel like Carabello was trying to play, but
he wasn't in on the fix.
He
There's
wasn't.
always one cat that's not.
You
with
know
it.
who else wasn't though? Adam Miller.
Yeah, Adam.
Adam was trying to. He was
game.
trying. At the end of the game, he was like trying. Dog, I'm saying, I was waiting for a guy to call for the ball. It's like he was like.
But if you watched Illinois all year, Io never forced the issue. Like when they got down and needed a bucket, he would go and get it.
They
First of all,
stayed down though, dog. So it's
so let's start it from the top.
okay. I'm gonna be listening. Student.
Brad Underwood was clearly outcoached. Yeah, Brad Underwood. Okay, let's go back even further. We'll get to Illinois in a second. Just my synopsis of the first weekend of March Madness. There are a lot of bad coaches in Division I basketball.
Ooh.
It's a lot of bad basketball being played in the tournament.
Is it the tournament or is it just bad basketball?
I think it's bad basketball. But T touched on this when we were talking about whether we would rather watch regulation NBA or regulation college, and I understood where he was coming. I would still rather watch regulation college because I feel like there are more guys in college who enjoy the game and are looking for something more.
They're hungrier.
Yeah, when the guys in the NBA, they already paid. Most of them, they living good. The game is secondary. The love is like, it's cool. I can do this in my sleep. But there's a lot of bad basketballs, a lot of terrible coaches. This is why you see these same 4 to 6 to 8 teams in the Final Four every year. Tom Izzo, Jim Boeheim, Rick Pitino. It's these same 6 to 8 coaches every year. So in turn, that tells me that, especially like these blue blood schools, like you can't make a Final Four.
You see, now that's what I wanted to ask you today. I'm looking at the teams that are beating these top seeds, and I'm like, are these better teams?
They're not better teams. Loyola was a better team than Illinois. That Illinois Loyola is well coached, period. We know Porter's resume speaks for itself.
I feel like that goes along with homie that was ripping Io up. That's just film.
That's the scouting report, folks.
He holds the ball at the top of the
scouting report. If you watched Illinois all year, they've never been in that position. They've never been in that position. When they were down to Ohio State, those were close games. They were never down double digits where they had to fight back. So what Io was doing was he was just playing within the team. He was doing what the coaches told him. Now, what I need from my first team All-American USA Today Player of the Year is to say, screw what Brad Underwood talking about. We down 10, and I'm first team All-American. Now, his draft stock, if you look at the draft board, Io was never a lottery pick. He was supposed to be mid to late first round. Now, I'm not saying his stock fell because your draft isn't judged on March Madness.
It fell.
I don't know how much it fell because, like I said, he wasn't a lottery pick to begin.
Okay.
The Io's struggles have been the same thing. Now, he's grown as a player every year, but his struggles have been known since the beginning of the year. When we watched Illinois play Ohio University, that first couple games of the season, Ohio just beat who this weekend?
Ooh, did they beat Florida? No.
No, Florida. Ohio, whoever they beat this weekend, I wasn't surprised because of the way that they played Illinois. And like the coach said, that gave them the fuel. That gave them the confidence to know that they could play against anybody in the nation. So going back to Illinois and their weaknesses, Io, again, when Porter Moser said, you know what? I watched the scouting. I've watched enough games. I've done enough. Shout out to the staff in general, though. Not just Porter, but his staff. Virginia, a team who got knocked out in the first round last year.
That was the defending national
after winning the national championship in 19. So they did the scouting report. They watched Io off the pick and roll. If you watched Illinois all year, Io off the pick and roll, he never forced the action. When they double him off the pick and roll, all he does is swing the ball. Okay, let's blitz Io off the pick and roll. Force him to give the ball up, make somebody else make a play. Now, if you watched Illinois, Trent Frazier? Did you see Trent Frazier play like that all year?
No. Fix. I'm just saying, dog. The fix. I'm saying, man, Trent. hey, Joe, you're not going to the league, dog. You going to Europe. You better go ahead and take this $3 million across the pond with you.
Man, Trent was going to the rack like he was CP3. Lil Frankie didn't get a look.
At all.
Not a one look. I don't even know if he took a shot that game. The scouting report, bro. Great coaching, discipline will beat talent anytime.
Did you see the press conference after the
Oh, I wasn't
did
going
not.
off, Brad.
I couldn't even watch it.
It was terrible.
Was it?
The first
I
thing
I
he
promise
said,
I couldn't watch it.
The first thing he said about the program and how they beat the what was it? His exact words.
I can't remember his exact words. I got hung up on the fact that he kept saying what his team thought that Loyola wouldn't do, and they ended up doing it. Of course, it's like what?
Yeah, he didn't make one adjustment, and then when he tried to make the adjustment later in the game, it was too late, and his players they just did not. They weren't capable of carrying out the game plan because again, they had never been through that this whole entire year. Kofi. He got outplayed by Crutwig. Crutwig is a third-team All-American now, guys. And then let's not forget, let's give a shout-out to Lucas Williamson because he locked up on IO. And that was personal. I'm not going to get into it. It'll come out. The story will come out about Lucas Williamson, Illinois, IO, and the whole situation. The story will come out sooner than later. Maybe.
And man, you're going to have to break that one.
No, we're going to let Luke, we're going to get, because IO's supposed to come on the soil. And then once Loyola makes another Final Four, Lucas Williamson was our first Bigs Player of the Year. So we're going to get him on the soil and let him tell the story. But it was personal. But let's give credit to...
Well, personally, guess what? He got it back.
He was locking up.
That boy, man, it's like, obviously as an Illinois fan, but so I was on the board of directors with Lucas's mom. Okay. And I just see how much she poured into her son, and she, she's supporting both of her kids, right? Because the other one is a water polo player, right? She's a water polo player, and it's like I don't want to root against him doing good. Right. It's just my alma mater.
No, and that's
It's like, but Lucas Williams,
Lucas Williamson is an outstanding kid.
Human being.
Yes,
human being,
high character, well spoken, great student. State champion at Whitney Young.
A competitive athlete.
Like you said, his mom, his dad, his sister, extra supportive, always there for him. I'm very happy to see Lucas get that shine on the biggest college platform.
You can see at the end of that game, he had an extra edge.
Come on.
He's like, nah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But let's give kudos to him and Crutwig for having that Final Four experience and knowing off the jump that they could beat Illinois. Now, I know for a fact that the seedings are off.
That's
because Loyola, there's no way they should be number 8.
Seed?
If they were no less than like 17 or 18 in the coaches poll, which means they should be no less than a 4 seed.
That's across the board though, and I think that's why we're seeing so many upsets.
Yep.
The seeding is off. It's like, nah, these cats are playing way higher than what they're seeded at.
Let's put Illinois against Loyola for the Illinois battle. Let's put Abilene Christian.
Anybody that wasn't watching that game yesterday?
That's why and I don't know nobody who didn't have it on they FanDuel, whatever they had. That's why I keep saying, man, that's a lot of money. There's somebody.
A whole lot.
That's a whole lot of money. And I'm from Chicago, cuz.
If I would have had some bread, I would have picked Loyola just for the hell of it, but like you said, because I know what the payout was gonna be.
And as soon as the brackets drop, you looking at that like, oh, second round.
Even.
It's like,
I said that. As soon as I did not want to see Loyola. I said this morning. After I saw Illinois lose to UIC when UIC was dirt. I was at the United UC, Center. I was like, I don't want them playing Illinois teams, kind of way, no how, because everybody in the state want to beat Illinois just cause it's Illinois.
But I'm thinking about the seedings, and I'm thinking think about Abilene Christian in Texas
versus Texas. With all the history.
That busted up my bracket, but I promise you I was rooting for Abilene.
No doubt.
Whoever number 3 was, did you see the big boy number 3 on Abilene? He was walking up the court because he was so heavy.
Hey, man.
But he was
balling.
It's 4,000.
5,000.
5,000 kids at that school. It's like, come on.
Check this out. they were talking about the stats on that game. Their whole entire athletic budget for the entire school is $2 million. Texas is $200.
Oh, man.
$2 million to $200.
That's a Disney movie in the making.
Million. Texas's athletic budget is $200 million, and the athletic budget for Abilene was $2 million. Shaka was they gonna run Shaka up out of there for that.
That's why I'm like, Shaka, man, you might have wanted to stay at VCU, bro.
When it was small
When
time,
y'all
and
was
you can
coming
get
up.
those big wins.
Yeah,
you
man.
know?
But yeah, Oral Roberts.
Oh man.
Shout out to Bueller McLeod. Do you know Bueller went to Oral Roberts? I was like, who's rooting for that? The only person on the whole of Facebook rooting for Oral Roberts, black, Bueller McLeod.
And Russ Dorsey.
I know a couple of people that went to Oral Roberts. That's going crazy.
Hey, man, when you come out with the confidence and you come out with nothing to lose, because they feel like we shouldn't be here in the first place. We had to win our tournament to get here. Says a lot, man.
And I feel like that gets like blown up because of the other accommodations. You know what I mean? Even the low-level schools on the men's side of it were staying at like a Motel 6. Imagine waking up knowing you about to play Texas and they staying in like a Hyatt or something. You know what I mean? It's like, hold on, G. No, we moving into that Hyatt next week.
Hey, man, let's take our first break. When we get back on the other side, man, we can continue this talk because we're not done with Illinois versus Loyola, man. Illinois got to get the blues, bro. Brad Underwood, namingly, because he did a pretty good job this year, but he did a absolute horrible job yesterday. And
when it mattered most.
When it mattered most, man. So, Mays, take us to break, man. You're on the soil with the bigs. We'll be right back.
TPM.
Asiatic black man, maker, owner, cream of the planet Earth, father of civilization, and God of the universe. Not the planet, of the universe. And then they said, hey, nothing is spooky? Now that's spooky.
Yeah. Check it. Look. So, I faded dark, play at the start, play my part better than a good kid, play at the park. Stay away from the knock, unmarked and undercovers. Cops, police, whoever after the brothers. Uplift black mothers, encourage the dance to stay. What you wanna do tomorrow starts from the day. Before you get paid, how much you gotta pay? Long with dudes, get it right, don't be confused. Keep cool, 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 cool. Cool is something you need to keep. Keep the heat as well, but don't be hot in the streets. Streets is watching, police popping everybody off, cause the rats speaking and talking. Too often it happens like black on black crime. Another brother killed with time like flat laughs. Too many women giving brain, now they lack mass. Too many artists in the game with rap raps. So these dope tracks, nigga, dope raps. Hey, play this, get some all that. Yeah, play this, get some all that. Go, play this.
Everybody's talking about the all-new Sam Silk's Chicken and Fish. Place your order today for a delicious meal. The chicken and fish are fried to perfection, featuring a wide variety of catfish, perch, tilapia, whiting, and shrimp. Now it's your turn to see what everybody's talking about. It's the all-new Sam Silk's Chicken and Fish, Chicago's newest spot for delicious meals. Stop by at 2537 South Wabash in the South Loop, or get contactless delivery from DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, and Postmates. For more info, call 773-807-9010, 773-807-9010. Sam Silk's Chicken and Fish is open just in time for lunch, or take it to the house for a delicious dinner. It's Chicago's new spot for perfectly fried chicken and fish. Don't wait any longer. Try it today. Sam Silk's Chicken and Fish, 2537 South Wabash in the South Loop. Sam Silk's Chicken and Fish.
Shop at Black-owned and operated Solo Beauty, where you are appreciated and respected. Located at 8158 South Cottage Grove, Solo Beauty can supply all of your black hair care needs. Solo Beauty is open from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m., Tuesday through Saturday.
We out where we live illegal, leaning off a leader, riding regal, tipping scales like Libras. Inhale, no L's, pulling out blocks like Jenga. In the rear of a Caprice's Billy Rims, flicking decent nonetheless. Nothing less than 10s for the speakers. You'll hear us before you see us with beats that beat the streets up. Yeah. So try and keep up and keep it low key, cuz police try and treat us and keep us on a leash, cuz that's how they see us, thinking we nuts. Cuz we'll die for the ground beneath us, because this land made us. This land made of players that stay on paper. That's how we came up amongst the mayhem to the day when we display what we made of. The game can never change us, the West Side teachers. On these streets where you find that D before G. We out west with it, back down, trying to flip a dollar. If you looking, then we got it, you just gotta been a plot. We out west with it, riding clean, wetter than the sea. On the scene with a full tank, blowing AC. We out west with it, I'm posted, let me know what y'all on. Cause if y'all get on something, then just hit my phone. We out west with it, yes sir. Hustle for every penny in the trenches, but we turn struggle into strength. Smell the grind in the air, take a whiff. Only the nose knows the aroma. Compose the money rolls that fold up, holding cold cups.
Searching for those that got the purple O's. Hey man, you are back on the soil with the bigs, man. Shout out to my boy ML the Great, man. Today is Mick's birthday, man.
Oh yes, sir. Another rotation, man. Yes, sir.
Another rotation.
Well, y'all gonna get dude in the studio, man. I'm about tired. It's like a mythological Mick Luda.
I think
right?
what
y'all like? You be like, man. I feel like it's like Tommy. Right, like Tommy O. Martin, like you be talking about, right? Like, where is this Mick Luda, man? Like,
hey,
you
Mick,
have to get him in the joint, cause I'm just saying, man. I be listening to the music, I be vibing, I be doing my thing, and then they be like, this is imaginary. The Gino probably somewhere faking like he rapping in the back somewhere. What's going on?
Like you said, mythical though, cause I feel like he just appears when we talking about. He didn't jump right in the comments sometimes. You know what I mean? He probably be here soon, but I feel like it's around the corner. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we got something special for Mick. You know, it's a must, man. People been hitting my email and asking me for the music. And it's like it's a bunch of different things going on. I don't want to, me and Mick have been business partners for 20 years. I've known them for 30. But I want to give people the music the correct way. I don't want to just go out on my own.
That makes
sense.
That's
how that's how partners work. So I'm going to wait on that. But just know everybody that hit me up, I got it for y'all. Just hold on for a second. People want to support. They want to buy the music. I'm like, man, it's free.
I'm
if they want to pay for it.
Now you gotta tell. So here's the thing I think that we have cultivated here is people want to support
all day.
So if you, even though the music is free, if you give them a 99-cent version or whatever, people want to figure out how can they support.
No doubt.
So tell y'all done revived. I mean, I feel like you done revived them. I'm saying we gonna do a What's in It for the Black People media concert.
I heard you talking about it.
Cause it's like all these songs, people be like, man, I was riding around the Mick this weekend. Right, riding in the car, feeling some kind of way, like car wash,
out west,
haircut. And I was out west with it on 290. Okay, let me get out, y'all.
Nah, man, you right though, man.
That's how I felt about the song we were just playing over the break, man. Tony Stanza. Sounds amazing. You know what I mean? Definitely, Gino, you got the lick on music that people need to hear.
That they need to hear, though. Yeah, so shout out to all our guys. A special shout out to our boy Mick, man. Today, I think Mick is 40. Mick might be 43.
Man, definitely sending all of my, you know what I mean? Definitely got nothing but love for the man, Mick. Happy birthday, bro.
No doubt, bro.
Man, Gino, on that note, what kind of questions are they asking themselves today in Champaign, bro? Like, when the powers that be woke up and settled on that L, are they questioning if they got to move on from Brad Underwood? Because like you said before the break, he had a very good regular season. I mean, I feel like when we go back and look at the schedule, we'll see how kind of unorthodox it was. They played mostly
Big Ten teams.
Yeah,
so you don't really get to see
a true measurement of where you are.
All day.
You know what I mean? And I think it may have came out in the tournament. Maybe Loyola's just better coached. But I feel like if you're in Champaign, you're waking up like, okay, now, where are we for real?
But I want to go back to what you started this conversation off with, and we talking about Brad Underwood's press conference.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing he talked about was how the program has come a long way. And I just feel like that's BS, man. I mean, okay, when Trent Frazier's freshman year, Illinois was trash. 4 years later, they're the #1 seed in March Madness. But you got to own that, bruh. Y'all were the #1 seed in the tournament.
That's the top of the mountain.
You got to own that, bruh. You did not have your players ready for what was coming. Porter Moser and his staff did a much better job than you guys did. I don't think Illinois underestimated Loyola either. because they knew, like we all knew, this is a battle of Illinois.
We'll see now.
Loyola was the last school to go to the Final Four in Illinois, out of Illinois college.
Yeah, but I still think for the most part, people looked at Loyola as like a Cinderella.
That's their fault.
And I feel like they totally underestimated Loyola.
You think Illinois came out underestimating Loyola?
Absolutely,
okay.
bro. They totally came out feeling like they could probably flick the switch on against these guys.
But that's something that you can't do. That's a
You don't
known
know that.
fact. In March Madness, you can't flip a switch and get going.
See, even Brad
See the Rutgers
Underwood is
game,
guilty
though?
of that.
But Rutgers,
they came back. I mean, it was the same
Rutgers
thing.
and Houston?
It was Rutgers and Houston was down by like 6. And every time Illinois got to 6 or 8, I was like,
you
"There's
was
hope."
feeling it, yeah.
Right, and they was like, "We just waiting for him to flick it." Right, you was just waiting for him to just do it.
But Porter again, Loyola had one set, bro. Crutwig at the high post, curl off the high post. If that first action wasn't there, back cut layup. One set. And Illinois could not stop one set. That's all on Brad Underwood.
Yeah, because I'm looking at Kofi. How deep was he playing off of Crutwig? It's like, come on, Kofi.
Because Crutwig wasn't going to shoot the ball, but he's a playmaker.
You gotta guard him.
Fix.
With Lucas Williamson, Cam Crutwig, Porter Moser, and his staff, Final Four experience. 4 years, 3 years, however long it was, when those guys were freshmen, that was the deciding factor in them coming out knowing that they could outcoach. They were gonna outcoach Brad Underwood, and they could outplay them. Great deep.
Somebody's computer's on.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
See now, real quick, and I don't want to get too off topic.
No, let's get it.
One of the things that tripped me out after the L is the reaction to the criticism of their play. It's like, don't talk bad about
their players or their play.
Their play and kind of players, because I feel like if you're criticizing this loss the right way, you had to look at some of these individual performances and say these guys were awful yesterday, but they didn't bring it.
But the only criticism I saw was Io.
You see, I saw something about Kofi. I seen they say his stock dropped and that he should go back to school.
Kofi?
Yeah.
What stock?
I mean,
he wasn't the first round pick, no way.
Whatever it was.
That's the thing. What stock? He wasn't a first round pick anyway.
And see now, what was Io's stock then?
Io was a mid to late first round pick. He wasn't lottery.
Whew.
The deficiencies are there, bro. It's obvious. No disrespect to Io, man. Like, that's the thing. We're not. We love Io. We've watched him since he was 13 years old.
Given. So now, why is it a given that he's declaring for the league then?
Well, he was there on senior. What else? Why does he come back?
Because
to win a national championship.
Because of the holes in his game.
What hole? The same holes that was in his game last year.
So you don't think if he came back, he can improve his draft stock?
No, man. No.
So what good is the college game then?
To get better and better and best you can before you try to make the jump.
Or is it just for the same group of prospects from high school? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, depending on if you Cade Cunningham, a guy who's been the number one pick before he stepped foot on the Oklahoma State University campus.
I just don't know where this stigma came from, that it was a bad thing to be a 4-year college player. You know what I mean? And yes, we're probably just leaving the era of one and dones.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the NBA plans to do as far as high school players moving forward. We've heard talk about them getting ready to lift the age requirement and get high schoolers back into the NBA draft. But I'm wondering if Io would benefit from another year in college and then going to the league.
What does Io benefit? Both of y'all. You Mays is back.
Win the championship.
Man, they ain't winning no championship. That's cooked.
Yes, we are. Nah. That to me,
Illinois ain't winning no championship.
To me,
that's cooked.
if both of them two come back,
seed.
both of those two come back. Both of them two come back, right?
Adam Miller come, yeah.
No, dog. We can make another run at it. We getting another Big Ten too. I'm gonna just say this: if I'm Io, I probably do stay because I mean that was he. Man, I'm gonna tell you, if you think he's a middling NBA player,
Yes.
Right?
Io needs to go. Io is going to go to a team that can develop a player. So he would be great in San Antonio when they get rid of DeMar DeRozan. He would be great in that system.
See, now to me,
he's not a guy that you throw on a team and let him go for self.
See, it sounds like you're describing a second-round pick. You know what I mean?
I'm not. Hey, bro, I'm not in the front office.
I'm like, hey, I'm going back to school. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, going back to school, I'm gonna get all this action. I'm gonna throw my name out there. I'm not gonna sign an agent.
Right.
I'm gonna put my name in the mix.
Like he did last year.
Right. If I ain't in the top 10, 12, 15, I say 15, right? I'm coming back to U of I, because here's the thing I feel like if you think you're going to be a middling basketball player, but you're going to have Io's history at Illinois and go, like, your future is secure, right? Like, this is me. Like, I seen a lot of NBA players that come out of Illinois that everybody thought they was going to be a star and they didn't wind up being that, right? But if you do right by Illinois, that Illinois Illini network will make sure that you are forever employed well. And I think Io has.
Now that's another side of it.
Okay, I probably am.
Yeah,
I'm playing from the guy who ain't never going to the league, so I got to come up with alternatives.
And I understand, because that's a key factor in life. Like you said, the NBA, regardless, and we know how these guys make all that money, and 5 years later they retire, they broke. Exactly.
D Brown.
Exactly.
D Brown. I'm just saying, like, D Brown, everything, all Big Ten, Player of the Year, everything, and Darren Williams went, right? And D Brown we never saw, but I would tell you what, D Brown got Illinois look. I bet you he'll never be unemployed.
Oh, no doubt.
He'll never be unemployed, and I bet you he gonna have a big old fat house. Right, and he gonna be okay. And I feel like Io, they pumped him up a tremendous amount. I think he's a great player. But I long for the days of knowing college basketball players that played 4 years and you followed them and then you watched them develop over 4 years. They fought, they got beat down in the championship. Then they came back and somebody was like, I'm doing it for my team. And we're gonna all come back and we're gonna all win this thing, and then we're gonna go out on top and we're forever. Like, and maybe this era that we live in now, there is no team.
There you go.
It's like every man for himself. But I feel like some kind of way in watching that Illinois ball, and maybe it's just my sentimental, I feel like there is the hope that they could come back. I do think Kofi needs another year. And I think Io, he didn't do everything that he needed to do.
No doubt. I agree 100% with that. But again,
go to the league, get that back.
Yeah, man. Again, March Madness.
Yeah, I mean,
the NBA draft isn't based on March Madness. The NBA draft is based on potential and projection.
Okay.
So Io, when he gets to those draft combines and they see when he stands on that wall and they see his 6'5.5" stature with a 7'1" wingspan, and they're like, okay,
Scottie Pippen.
We see what Scottie turned into. This is a guy, and I'm not comparing Io to Scottie. But I'm just saying we're talking about developing players versus a guy like
coaches.
Versus a guy like Cade Cunningham, who's going to be the number one pick. He's going to go to Detroit or whoever the worst team is in the league, thrown in the starting lineup, and he's so talented he'll find his way. Io is a guy who I think what will bode well for him is being able to go into a system that develops players well. It's not many in the league. A lot of these teams, we're talking to NBA now, a lot of NBA teams, they just started player development. You see our own. The Bulls, when we started with the Bulls, they didn't even have player development. So this is new. So as far as Io is concerned, like I said, I would much rather have him on the soil so we could take this directly to him and we could hear it from the horse's mouth. And they said they were coming. When the season was over, Q said they were coming. They thanked us for reaching out and said as soon as the season was over, they were coming. So I just feel like Darius Thomas just said, Io is a great player. I don't know if he has what it takes to be dominant in the league.
You don't got to be dominant.
There you go. How many players are dominant in the league?
Let me tell you what. You go to the league, you play 5 years. You good. You good.
Look at Pat Bev. You know what I mean? Who would say that he hasn't had a phenomenal NBA career?
Pat Bev has had an outstanding NBA career. He's paid for life.
Absolutely. And I feel like Io gets credit, like what he lacks in game and skill, he makes up for it with his leadership. to a team. I feel like he's going to be probably the best asset to a locker room in the draft, as far as attitude goes. So,
well, just
something to be said for it.
Yeah, I know. It's all of that plays in part to what you can bring to a team.
It'll keep you around.
Yeah, but as far as his game is concerned, we saw the deficiencies in his game yesterday. Now I feel like half of what it was the coach. Didn't have those guys ready for the adjustments. I feel like Io did nothing that he didn't do all season. When they trapped him, he just passed it to his teammates because they were better than everybody else, like you said. And then this goes out to the Big Ten because they were overrated. They sent, 9 teams to the Big – half of them are gone already?
But see, like you said, though, all they did was play each other.
I agree.
You know what I mean? And then we like, they beat each other up. They're good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay.
It's like, come on.
Then when you look at the conference who's taken a beating over the last maybe 8 to 9 to 10 years.
Big Ten.
No, not the Big Ten. The Pac-10.
Pac-12, ain't it now?
Are they the Pac-12? Yep. Look at them now.
Oregon State.
State. UCLA. Come
Shout
on,
out to UCLA, man.
I had them going.
Crazy.
Sean Smith, man. Chris Smith, man. Shout out. Dude.
Syracuse. I mean, that's not Pac-12, but I'm just saying the schools. Syracuse. They throw that 2-3 at you. I didn't know. Jim Boeheim's son?
Bucky Boeheim?
Oh, my God.
Yes, sir.
25-3?
Oh, man.
What?
Buckets.
Runs deep.
But when you run that 2-3 zone that you probably haven't seen all year. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That Boeheim been running for 40 years.
The original. Yeah.
Then I saw people talking about, man, screw Jim Boeheim. He got 1 national championship in 40 years. I said, bro, Jim Boeheim guys one more national championship than 90% of guys who coached their
Hey,
give it to him.
Ever. Okay, it's never happened. Okay.
I remember we beat Sherman Douglas though.
Was that him and Derek Coleman or Ronnie Cycling?
Yeah. Oh, we whooped him up.
Okay.
I was that run. That was when I was a junior in high school, and even that run, I just
with Marcus Liberty.
It was Marcus. It was the flying line.
So did you hear Marcus Liberty saying that he was gonna go to Syracuse? He said he was all but gone to Syracuse.
And how did it flip?
You know how it flipped. Chicago, baby.
Landon Cox told him. They said Sonny. Well, we talked to him. He said
Blazer.
Sonny Cox called Syracuse and told them, no, he's not coming there. He told him, get back on that plane right now. Bring your ass back to Chicago. And don't even think about it, bro. Illinois is the move.
Hey, man, that was the hey, man, Sonny Cox, bro.
The late, great.
I went to school with his daughter. Joe.
Down there?
Danielle Cox.
Okay.
I didn't know I didn't understand until after I left. How she was like the queen of the school. Like, yo, it was crazy. Crazy. So, man, so you saying that Marcus Liberty, man, it's a lot of stories like that where I told you that's why I just don't trust what happened in Chicago. Chicago and basketball are too interweaved, and the streets are too interweaved, right? For me to see all of the red flags that I saw watching that game, yo, and it's like I'm really going easy on it because the streets and basketball are very well intertwined, and we don't have a secret location. So, but I'm just telling you, Joe. I mean, I felt like watching that game, somebody was smart enough to be like, dog, you straight for life. You're gonna be straight. Do what we tell you to do. Knock on the hotel room door.
We not at a secret location.
We ain't at a secret location. So, hey, man. And it's like, I'm already on the political hit list. I don't need to be on the street hit list, too.
Yeah, you don't need to be on 2 hit lists, man. Take it easy out here, man. But a dope first weekend for March Madness, man. I was happy with the games. Sad.
I hated it.
What? This was exciting.
Yeah, I'm just glad that because we didn't get one last year, so I was just happy to see the kids happy more than forget the brand of basketball. I was just happy to see the kids happy when they get the upsets and they march. They storm the floor and the few parents in the stands and
see now Of course, it took me down a whole rabbit hole.
I know where you going.
I'm
with.
like, gee, we
Morgan
need
State.
to change the. You know, I hated watching. Even I was like, at least can Norfolk State, since they came out of MEAC, can they do? No.
Nah, smoked.
But I'm like, we need to change how we look at college basketball. And I know a lot of parents that watch us got kids that hoop. It's like, gee, your kid can go anywhere and hoop. Like we need to take the stigma off of these top schools, man.
Oh, now that I'm with that. I'm gonna be honest with you. Gino has been working with my son on the basketball tip. I think you kind of, and now watching these mid-majors and how all of this is coming, it's like, I think we always thought like Big Ten or bust, right? And it's like, nah, you can go play a lot of places. And watching, again, watching that Abilene Christian made me say I had hope. Did you see the story? I'm sorry, I love this show, man. Did y'all see the story about the kid from Ohio? The kid from Ohio, the point guard that was in the game, he rode the bench. Never played.
Oh yeah, the light skin with the crazy. The one he had a triple-double against Illinois.
Right. Never played a game.
Yeah.
In high school except for senior night. Rode the bench all his career, and then came out, and who did Ohio beat? Virginia.
Virginia, yeah.
And they played Ohio. Man, yep.
But think about, that's the Ja Morant story.
Creighton?
No, Ja Morant, he went to Murray State.
Right.
He said, remember, he played AAU with Zion Williamson.
And then they snapped off that year.
He said that they were at a tournament, and a lot of those guys, I forget exactly what happened, but he said they got sent to the back gym where wasn't no scouts. All the scouts were in the front gym where Zion and all of them were playing. He said the rest of us, we had to go to some back gym and just do us. And he said some random the coach from Murray State just randomly walked past the back gym and was like, oh, what's going on in here? He took a look in, and he said Ja was back there going crazy. And he was like, hey, look, forget that front gym. Hey, man, come on to Murray State.
You got a home.
And Ja was like, he didn't want to hear from nobody else, no other schools, because he was like, it didn't matter because this was the only school that took a chance on me. And he was like, the coach told him, man, you come on here, we going to develop you, and you'll be out of here in 2 years. I remember that first year, he burst on the scene in the tournament and went crazy. Came back the next year, went even more crazy.
Yep.
Second pick in the draft the next year. So, yeah, man,
it's a lot more Ja Morant's like, you know what I mean?
I agree.
I definitely feel like, we're used to the North Carolinas.
So what's your thinking? Why are you not feeling March Madness so far?
Because of how we look at it. I'm like, why is Loyola 8th seed? Why is Oral Roberts ranked? I'm like, gee, these kids are
because they're mid. But we know why
they were looking better. Though. I'm like, gee, these kids are better than these kids at these top schools.
I'm not gonna say they're better. I'm not gonna say
they're more disciplined. And I think
that's a part of the game.
I agree.
But I think that the league that we look at now has shunned discipline. Right? That's why you coming across the court with jacking a three. Those teams, and those are the guys that go to the league, right? That star off that team goes to the league. Yep. But when you think about these teams that's got to pass, and they got to play a game, it's like it is entertaining. And I enjoy seeing the big guys fall, except for Illinois. I was watching that Abilene Christian game, and it's like I had Texas picked, but as the momentum
went on,
man, I'm like, come on, man.
All day.
Let's root for the
beauty. That's the beauty of March Madness. That's more why I'm enjoying March Madness, not because of how we look at it, but just like you said, man, the Abilene Christians and the Oral Roberts. Again, I don't think Illinois has the more talented players than Loyola has. There's no doubt about that.
But the
heart, the discipline, everything else that matter, like you said, the other things that matter.
Yeah, but then the question after Porter, it's like, okay, which big school is he gonna go to next?
They tried that already. He stayed true.
They gonna throw another bag.
I know they are. I mean, he should stay true because Loyola, they got the money.
Yeah, now if Loyola pay him the money, right? Now I'm gonna say you don't ever miss that big opportunity to go because you got to take that chance. But I do think, Terrence, that the fact that these big schools are losing really goes to your point, right? And it's actually a reward that these little schools, high ranked, all of that stuff, the little schools are going. And I feel like it provides inspiration. Like watching these big schools go down says to the little guy, to me, who would give up or be like, man, we ain't got no chance. Like, there is a David and Goliath, and there is, and not even, because you think about it, you can put 5 people, if they run in a court, and you can have a superstar, but that don't mean that superstar gonna win the game if y'all got a 5-person team. And I just think, like, watching this tournament really allowed me to have some good conversations with my son as we're trying to navigate, all right, like, really, what's your basketball future? Cause, and like, yes, we go to Illinois camp, and yes, we go to Wisconsin camp, and we go to all the Big Ten camps. But is there an Olivet Nazarene in your? Is there a Creighton? Is there a place where you can go ball and still have all of the fun and all of the excitement of the tournament and get to the league? And I mean, it was. I just think that's pretty awesome. I do.
But I do agree with you, T, because at the end of the day, and this is what I was telling my mom, and this is what I was telling Sepia and whoever I talked to that asked me about March Madness. At the end of the day, you can scrap them seedings. Those are 10 Division I basketball players on the court at one time. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm sure they've all run across each other at some point in time.
Mm-hmm. Especially in this AAU area.
Yeah. So, but
this
again,
ain't the first time they didn't locked up.
Yeah, but then when you have a guy like Porter, or you have these coaches who the kids believe in discipline and team, bro.
Woo!
Team. Swing. When you, the best shot, we don't have no, like you said, basketball is probably the only sport where one player can help determine the outcome of a game. The superstar can help determine the outcome of the game. And that's just back to Io. That's just what I wanted to see from Io. I wanted to see him show. Now, they could have still gone down. They could have still lost the game, but I wanted to see Io go down fighting. You got to go down shooting. You got to go down being more aggressive, being more assertive. And I just think part of that was Brad Underwood not preparing him for that moment, but I also think at some point you got to say scrap Brad Underwood and you got to go for yours.
I feel like, yes, but at some point, it kind of teeters the line of players not wanting to get away from what got them there. You know what I mean?
No, I agree.
I agree.
You know
I agree.
But on that note, let's take another break real quick. We'll be right back here on the soil with the Bigs.
Yep.
Thank
WIFTBPM.
Who hit you?
Don't.
We out west with it, where we live illegal, leaning off a leader, riding regal, tipping scales like Libras. Inhale, no L's, pulling out blocks like Jenga. In the rear of a Caprice's Billy Rams, flicking decent nonetheless. Nothing less than 10s for the speakers. You'll hear us before you see us with beats that beat the streets up. Yeah. So try and keep up and keep it low key, cuz police try and treat us and keep us on a leash, cuz.
Sissy's Taco Bar Pop-Up is back with more hours and more days. Check them out at their new pop-up location at The Woodlawn, located 1200 East 79th Street. Sissy's Taco Bar offers authentic street tacos infused with international soul. Now every Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at The Woodlawn from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. New vegan tacos have been added to the menu too. Visit sissytacobar.com for more info.
That sound right there, man. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That's kind of inspirational. It's like everybody got a goal. They're trying to reach or alive. They're trying to live, man. Be bumps in the road. You got to keep pushing forward. You know what I'm saying? If it don't kill you, it make you strong. You know what I'm saying? My story right here. Yeah. It takes a special kind of mind to grind and work from the bottom and climb up the ladder of success in time. It doesn't matter what the test is, every step is another level till I step in as the next in line, no question. I'm considered one of the best, my whole life invested in, holding mics and sketching rhymes, you guessed it. I'm on mine, still restless, yes, even pressed up my records on my own dime. As many battles I blew breath in, and open mics I blessed. I'll never be labeled an overnight success, passing out CDs, doing shows for free.
Then dabbing bow to eat so that my soul could speak over these soulful beasts that's so cold to me. Like the breeze in the shower, we be posted deep. All the prices that I paid, the sacrifices I made, it'll all come to life one day, someday.
Wait and see, someday, we'll all make it for me, someday, we'll all wait and see, someday.
Just be patient, man. Bumps and road ain't nothing. Rotate, doesn't stop, look. Check it out, look. I remember it like yesterday, trying to get my record played at a radio station where they play hits for days. Having a conversation with this lady I'm facing while she making a statement made for me. She said, look, it's too many words in your hook. You need to work on your look. For what it's worth, I never took her words personal. But at first, I wasn't certain, though, if she knew my words are personal and not just verses and books. Until the curtain closes, this is my version of what I know. Learning in first person till I blow, and still I know how it feels to know I'm the deal. Did you still feel like a deal is just right, or a deal just might still add to my appeal? But they won't know I'm real till I touch my first million, right? I'ma chill till my bars is felt and play my hand with the cards I'm dealt, and that's the plan till it's solved itself.
Someday, someday, we'll all make it for me, someday, we'll all
Everything you want in this world is yours. All you gotta do is claim it, man. Be patient, work hard, man. Don't make it. Hey yo, it's damn near impossible to shop music without lots of loot to maneuver and make moves with. So I stay in tune with my pursuit. Fuck trying to recoup, I'm trying to juke and move units. The truth is, I'm used to excuses. Dudes give like you can. Do what I do, food and prove it. Walk in my shoes then. I'm used to goofy producers and cools that try to misuse you quick. Why you got it confused? If you think it's about groupie chicks and interviews in a mix, it ain't got ghouly, but I truly got the tools to overcome obstacles, including this music biz. I'ma shine like jewels, unlike these Rubik's Cube dudes with all this woo 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 when they spit. Mick Luda is the future, so get used to this. It's day one, not a crew or clique. It's a new beginning.
wait and see, someday, someday, we'll all make it for me, someday, we'll all wait and see, someday, someday, we'll all make it for me, someday, we'll all wait and see.
WIFTPM.
My nigga Dr. Mindbender behind the boards. Custom, ain't no heroes or role models where I'm from for us to follow where I'm from. Just some niggas throwing gang signs and hollows where I'm from. They pop pills, sip lean, and bless bottles where I'm from. If you still ain't figured it out, nigga, Chicago where I'm from. Home of some of the most notable women and men to exist, but the only stars niggas on their heads, the fan in the six. Most of us settle, however some intend to get rich. We lose homies and hit the internet to pretend that they miss. We spend link at the corner store, and motherfucker ain't gotta be enlisted in no army or Marine Corps to be going to war. It's gun smoke in the air, and it's blood stains on the floor. We all born poor, but yet and still we feel we born to soar. The beautiful struggle, bodies left blood oozing in puddles. We love to hate like a poisonous dart from Cupid then struck you. Shit, you stupid as fuck if you let the stupid instruct you. Should be using your muscle to build a lucrative hustle. Crabs in a bucket, so when one make it feel like we all did. From the county to Stateville, long stretches and small bids. The clubs chasing they last high. The shorties throw up middle fingers when the low pass by. They ask why we live this way. You couldn't overstand it unless you had to. Faggot police harass you, so-called homies will blast you. A message to out-of-towners written in blood. Don't take your dumb ass to the hood if you ain't plugged.
Spit with the curse of Capone. You gotta live with all the words you condone. Then it's on. They'll kill you dead, then bring the hearse to your home. Back in my shorty days, niggas would put a 40 to your sporting waves. Nowadays, these niggas thugging on phones. How it's nice, I used to play for the Dome. Philly been killing. But when you ball, get you a gun, it'd be like Ben Wilson, the pin drilling. Fuck how out-of-towners view the shot. I'm out west where every conflict crucial is do or die.
We are back on the soil. You're rocking with the bigs, man. I'm your man T-Time coming to you with my brother, Eugene McIntosh.
What's the Benoski, man? Shout out to my boy, I Am God on the track. Maze know
Yes,
what time
sir.
it is, man. God tuned in, too, man. Hey, we got something special we brewing up for April 2nd, man. I Am God, the bigs, What's in it for the Black People Network.
Yes, sir.
We'll keep y'all posted, man, maybe later on this week. But stay in tune, man. The guy got his album coming out next Friday, so we looking to do something special with him, so.
Absolutely. Almost like turn it back up just a little. Sound.
It's the wild onion, a dark ass city that love to hate.
That's hard. That's hard. That's hard.
That's Scooter Chose and Fillmore Green on the track with
It sounds so beautiful. Don't you agree?
It's called From Chicago with Hate.
It's barely a secret. We move shit, telekinesis. And box niggas like Chevy Caprices. My stress is post-traumatic. All I see is murders and massacres. Cancer patients and catheters. Fake narrators.
Regina,
You know the deal, man.
we like to do it at the top of the show, but it's never a bad time to lay down the law. Gino, tell the people what's good.
Man, we need y'all to smash them like buttons, smash them share buttons, hit the comment section, join the conversation like y'all always do, man. We appreciate the love from the family members. And, man, it's all about owning the black voice, man. It's all about ownership over here with the bigs, with the What's in it for the Black People Media family members. And, man, the further we get away from owning our voice, the further we get away from the truth, man. So it's all about, you know, staying in tune with us and pushing our culture and our content forward, man. So shout out to all of the family members at the network, the Maze Jackson Show, Book of Dawn, I Said What I Said,
Yes.
Toure, the green side of things, Tennille with her 8 shows. Just the whole
Finding our own black-owned business.
Man,
We got
parenting in the pandemic.
Hey, parenting in the pandemic. Who we got on the weekends? I'm looking at the list. We got I Do, I Did, I Don't. Plus we got Church Chicago, man.
Church Chicago be sitting. My mama loves Church Chicago.
Man, first of all, that's your mama or your sister, man?
That's she's in the comments.
Hey, Mom, I'm just telling you. Your mom is inspirational. Her comments, she is always so supportive. It's pretty
She
fly.
just asked, too. She said, ask Maze, how can we, the people, send stars?
You got to go to the, you know what? We'll talk about that a little bit later. This is what I want you to do right now, though. I want you to keep on supporting the bigs and what they doing right now in this movement. There's going to be plenty of ways for everybody to contribute, and I will help you unload those stars. But right now, I got my own 2 stars on the mic, so I'd rather talk to them. Let's go, fellas.
My boy.
Hey, man.
Gino, man, I know you had something you wanted to run past me. How you feeling today? Let me check your temperature real quick.
Man, Joe, I got. So did y'all see the verses this weekend? Was y'all tuned in, man?
I definitely was tuned in to Ray and Ghost. Yes, sir.
Man, it took me back to my favorite time in hip-hop.
Okay.
It took me. The Purple Tape.
Oh,
now
man.
the name of the name of the album is called Only Built for Cuban Links. But you know what what we call it? The Purple Tape.
I'm about to say it's the Purple Tape.
That is iconic in its. That's why Ray and Ghost are in the class of their own for that it alone. A purple tape.
Make it purple.
Like it's called Only Built for Cuban Links, but we call it the Purple Tape. Says enough.
You can hear it.
You know what I'm saying, man, Joe?
Y'all don't even. Terrence don't even know what that is.
Come
He
on.
had a CD player, right?
Y'all always think I'm like younger than I am.
You
Like,
was right.
I grew up on tapes.
You had to say, okay.
come
Toe
on,
Master.
Purple Rain.
Okay. I'm gonna
Damn.
let you be. I'll give you a pass.
Yeah.
Okay. Give you a
But
pass.
no, man, it took me back to my favorite time in hip hop. I feel like maybe like 92 to 96 was like my favorite part of hip hop. It was like my last couple high school years and then my first couple college years. So being able to, like I always tell you,
that's always a crucial
I'm
time.
not arguing with nobody about no albums. If you wasn't driving
in 92,
then I'm not debating with you
I
about
was
no
driving
them
to
albums.
play school.
You was driving a big wheel.
Yeah.
You was driving a big
I was
wheel.
big wheeling it in 92.
You had no green machine, man. At least go upgrade to the green machine.
Like I can't argue with you about Reasonable Doubt if you wasn't driving listening to Reasonable Doubt in 96. Now that's no disrespect.
That's fair game. That's
but I
fair.
can't. We just don't. We don't see it the same. So I'm just saying that to say, man, I really, really enjoyed watching Ray and Ghost. I feel like the banter in between songs.
That was gonna be the best. I mean,
but it leads me to going back to something that I always thought, and I feel like those skits on those albums, it wasn't like they were rehearsed. That was like fresh off the dome.
Thank you. And I feel like that, as a young fan, that was like the first thing that drew me into it was the banter and the skits in between it, and watching the verses. That's immediately what my mind went to. They started talking about, I'm gonna drop a bomb on your head.
I'm gonna drop a TV on your head.
That was a shot to the left.
A shot to the left.
That was a slug.
Oh man.
Yeah.
This is nobody. Nas is my favorite artist of hip hop artist of all time.
Did you hear what they were saying?
When Ghost said when Nas was born, it was like he was born with a beam of light on him.
Come on,
man. But I'm saying that to say I feel like ain't nobody iller in hip hop than Ghostface. Like style wise, the flow, the cadence, the discography. Like the man got so many, like from Iron Man, Supreme Clientele, the Pretty Tony album.
The gear,
Bulletproof,
them robes when he come out, them robes.
Come on, man, style is unmatched.
I was watching Black, the Jay-Z joint when he put on all the Slick Rick jewelry to go through. He the man.
No, man, and I wanted to, Maze, you got me queued up over there. Let me see. Yeah, I think we still queued up over there.
I believe so, Gino. So go ahead.
So this is my favorite part of the verses.
Don't get me whacked.
I took it. I took care of my.
Okay, got you.
Let's see. Let me get it up real quick. Let me see. My bad, y'all. I'm supposed to be more on point than this. Here we go.
Oh. I got nothing, Gino. Is it on the main screen?
Yep.
Why don't you keep talking? Let's go back out and come back in on the.
I was just thinking, and I feel like, because I feel like my bro, he's in the comments. I feel like my first introduction to most of this was through him. And the very first album I bought with my own money was Wu-Tang, the 36 Chambers joint. And I feel like that right there, just really put me on the track to a whole different kind of world of hip hop. I grew up with Ghostface Killer music all around me. That was the barbecue music for me when I was coming up. You know what I mean?
It had that aura, man. Like I said, the style and the flow and the cadence, and like May said, the outfits and the jewelry were like in a class of their own.
It was the flavor too, right?
Y'all,
it was like everybody. It was the gangster joint. Like that was when everybody started getting the nicknames from the Pablos and the whole joint. They brought the whole mafioso joint straight out all the way to the forefront.
They did, man.
I think I got you, Gino.
All right, let's try this. This was my favorite part of the verses.
Shout out Mary J. Blige. You still the queen.
Thank you, Mary. I appreciate you so much. Oh my God. I appreciate you so much. Papa Wu, I appreciate you so much. Papa Wu.
Rest in peace, Papa Wu.
Rest in peace to everybody's moms out there that passed away. Everybody's father that passed away. That's why right now you gotta love. You gotta tell your peoples, your friends, anybody you love, you gotta tell them you love them now. Not later, say it now. You ain't a bitch because you ain't say I love you. I tell my brother I love him all the time, yo. You know what I mean? Because you only get one life. Life is like a video game with just one man. You don't get 3 men. This game of life
only
is
ghosts,
only one man.
You don't get 3, Joe.
That's why we gotta take care of ourselves. I don't give a fuck. Go see the doctor. Just know what the fuck you got. You ain't gotta take the medicine or nothing. Just go see if you sick inside because you don't want to get too late and then it's like, yo, you took too long, man. We can't save you now. You know what I mean?
Only ghosts, man.
Come on, man.
This shit is beautiful,
it's
man.
Beautiful. Yo, Ray,
this record is very
Listen to Ghost.
It's like, I didn't want to cry, man.
It's very sentimental.
I feel like
it's like he snuck
man.
up on me with this one. Everybody, man. Hey, yo, man. Like I said, man. Hey, yo, for real. It's like, yo, I want to tell everybody, man, respect the elderly, man. Respect them. Take care of them. Look out for them. You know what I'm saying? Because we going to get there one day, you heard?
Exactly.
And it's like, you want your blessings to come the way you want them to come.
Respect the elders. Respect the elders, man. You don't want your sons and them really into some nursing home and just drop. You told me that one day. You said, yo, you scared to get wailed and dropped off in a nursing home because you ain't teach your kids right. That's right. You know what I mean? That's right. Just leave you there like that and you just sitting there suffering. That shit is like karma for all the shit. You know what I mean? It's like you don't want that shit, man. We got love. That's what's missing right now from the world is just love. Like, I could go walk up to a stranger and be like, yo, you know what? Because you my brother. I love you, nigga. Shit, we got the same blood. Red, our blood is red. I don't care if you my cousin. You don't gotta be my cousin, nigga. You know what I mean? It's like, yo, if we love more, the world would be a different place right now. Right now, the devil is winning because the hate is out there. Niggas raping old ladies, niggas. How you gonna rape an old lady and rob them and knock them out and doing all? It's like, yo, I don't even want to get into all that right now. So, yo, man.
Yeah, man.
I'm about to say I want to hear the Mary. You know what I mean? So
that song alone is like one of my favorite Ghostface albums. You watch the Hulu documentary?
I did not watch the Hulu. You talking about the series, the FX series?
Yeah.
The Hulu,
the Hulu series,
the movie,
Charlotte, right?
the one where it's 10 episodes.
Yeah.
Man, Charlie, I'm waiting on the new one to come on now.
Yeah, they have season 2 coming up. I'm not sure if it's
gonna be a season 2.
Yes,
it's
it
season
is.
2.
It has been approved.
Joey Badass was Inspector Deck. I don't think he's coming back, but they are gonna introduce You God and Capadonna, and I think whatever other Wu members that they didn't have in the first one are gonna appear in the second one.
It's Wu-Tang and American Saga.
Wu-Tang and American Saga. Now they did have a whole nother like documentary on Showtime where it was like 2 different episodes. It was like an hour. It was 3 of them. And they were like an hour long, and they were like sitting in the movie theater. I really enjoyed the Hulu series. There were a couple things that I was a huge Wu fan, so there were a couple things that I knew. Like Marty Marr said, man, this is TV. So you knew it was some things that weren't true necessarily. But the Wu documentary on Showtime where they were all sitting in the movie theater chopping it up, arguing and talking about who was at fault for this. I think I enjoyed that one a little more than the Hulu series, but the Hulu series was dope. But saying that to say, if you watch, because Ghostface was obviously so you didn't see it.
I only saw the 3-part one because as soon as I'm thinking, everybody was coming at meth.
No, you gotta
watch it.
Go binge watch it. It's a must.
Hulu, here I come.
Yeah, and Dennis, it's funny to hear their real name.
Yes.
So Ghost was Dennis, but that song, it explains Ghost's life. Like it's a mirror image of his life on the Hulu doc.
Oh, yes.
Before he actually became Ghostface Killer, though.
Yep.
He was just Dennis Coles then.
And let me ask a question. So was that true about him having the baby with RZA's?
Yeah.
Dang, Charlie. Yeah. That's a good. Hey, yo, I'm going to tell you. Yo, cuz you go grab that. You ain't got nothing to do.
You just sent me for a spin, right? I'm like,
right.
Wow.
I'm telling you. Let me tell you. You know how you know it was off the chain? Because Carrie was like, what we got to watch the Wu-Tang.
Right.
And, she ain't. I'm just on that whole thing, we did with the Sprite mixtape. We did a deal, or Coca-Cola R&B compilation. We did a deal with Takitha. And Takitha was from Chicago, right?
Yes, sir.
And so we had gotten her on the deal. And it's funny watching the Wu-Tang movie, because it's like, I'm in the Sprite offices and I'm calling and I'm thinking I'm talking to the Wu, I'm Wu-Tang, acknowledge all them mugs. And it's like they in an apartment. And we, they on an apartment on a home phone, and I'm calling the Wu-Tang like, yes, we'd like to cut a deal for Takitha. And these dudes is in their apartments on play phones. It was crazy.
Real talk. But yeah, like I think maybe like 35% of that Hulu doc was like facts. The other 65, they had to spice it up for TV.
Hey, it was worth it.
Oh, it was so like Ray living on the roof. That was not true. Like Ray wasn't living on the roof. I was
like, dang, Ray. I couldn't even believe they let Ray. I was like, Ray, you let yourself be a bum in this mud, because he was kind of bummy a little bit.
He was. We know Ray is fly.
Yes, super fly.
Yeah, you got to watch it, man.
Those are the 2 flies in the group, in my estimation.
It's no doubt about it. But yeah, Ghost, man. Ghost. All that I Got Is You is like one of my favorite Ghostface songs. Obviously, Mary did her thing, but the story itself, you could see it, like they say, you could see it like a 20-inch Zenith. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But just seeing them, man, interact on stage, and Wu-Tang is, arguably the greatest group in hip hop history. So just seeing my guys be able to get on stage and bring back those good old times and see them interact with each other.
I got to see them. That was one of the last shows I saw before the pandemic. Wu-Tang, they did the anniversary show for the 36 Chambers album.
Okay, where was that?
This was at it was in some parking lot. You know what I mean? Spitter was there.
Oh.
Gibbs was there. You know what I mean? Mos Def was there.
Okay.
So, you know what I mean? It was a dope show. I mean, it was a dope concert. But I still feel like y'all definitely lived through a wicked era of hip-hop.
Oh, God. I mean,
You know
I just think about that whole Wu-Tang. Like, I remember when the Wu-Tang album, we would come home from college. I mean, we would come home, we'd be on the quad, and everybody be like, 2 40s and 2 blunts. Everybody had to come to the party, 2 40s and 2 blunts, and we'd turn on the Wu-Tang album and listen to the Chambers, and everybody be wasted playing NCAA football. Man, and that Wu-Tang era, though, it was just like everything. I mean, because you had Wu-Tang, you had Biggie, you had Jay. Jay was on the back end of that.
He was 96.
He was on the back end of it.
Talking 93, 94,
Man,
95.
let me tell you, we did a whole show. The Sigmas did a step show where you know how the Wu had the, everything. We turned our Sigmas to the side and used and made them and rocked Wu, man, because we was like the Wu every time we came to the party.
No doubt.
We was causing wreck, and it would be like all 50 of us. That was a great time, bro.
No, those were.
And you mentioned the greatest group of all time. I'm just running through the names in my head. It's like, come on, like Meth, ODB, like.
Hey, man, do you remember the first time you heard "All I Need"? Yeah,
that was the first. That was the first one of those type of songs.
Right. That I remember being at Michigan State, and
that's
that
crazy that you
came
remember
on.
exactly what.
Man, we heard that and we was like, wait, yeah, and it was that it was everybody was singing. Then you remember Biggie, not hypnotized. What's the one where everybody? When everybody was in the video.
Biggie
and everybody.
One More Chance.
One More Chance. Like that
was our like the
I'm
music.
Seeing the fade of the ghost and them. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Everybody at the party, man. That was a great era. I'm gonna tell y'all. I can't wait to see y'all keep going down these paths too, because I do think y'all do it for the culture as well. So
yeah, it's
you don't get no sports.
Hip hop and sports, man, they intertwine, man. They like one and the same.
Slam Magazine, man. Remember that was the era when you got your Slam Magazine.
Yes.
Then you had the Video Vixen cover. It was like Slam XXL, and you pick up all, and then the source. Oh yeah, I'm through. I'm out your show.
Those were like he said.
Not to say, I still got all of mine.
Blunts and like, man, I thought they was the Wu. Nas, they was calling me, Ken Rock called me Esco right now. What up, cuz? Cuz 2 in the building.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, man, great old times. Hey, man,
Come on.
Maze, they called me Esco.
Yes, sir.
The source. Man.
Classic stuff.
Look at Tony, man.
Come on with the change. That's at least 30 pounds.
That man Ghostface said, them my guys right there, the Hot Boys.
The Hot Boys.
We
need the movie on that, because now you're going directly into my era.
Ooh, The Rock.
Oh, yeah.
Mars Don't Know State Property didn't know each other. They just threw them together.
See, I remember I was salty that the Hard Knock Life tour that I couldn't go as a shorty. I'm like, Moms, everybody's
Double
on tour.
Eve. Wow.
I definitely had I had that Eve one.
Then he got the vibe.
Vibe, of course.
You got the classic vibe. Which one was the classic vibe cover? Was that the one with Pac on it?
That was Biggie.
No, it was the one with Pac. I don't know if I know he got it out there somewhere.
The whole Death Row. I remember that.
Right. That's what it was. The whole Death Row.
That was the source, though, wasn't it?
No, that was Vibe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a killer. That's probably the most classic.
Good old days, man. My man Ghost said, I slap box with Jesus and lick shots at Joseph. If that ain't I still feel like Nas got the coldest rap line ever in hip hop still to this day when he was 16. Verbal assassin, my architect pleases. When I was 12, I went to hell for snuffing Jesus. Like, I still think that's like.
Every time I hear that, because I was playing Illmatic yesterday and heard that.
Hey, man, he was 16. You got to be on another wavelength to understand.
He
that
still
a
wasn't
six-
that Jay. He cute. That was cute.
I don't know if we want to have this battle, man.
Is it 2-on-2? Like, cause I'm
Yeah, it's cute. I'm
old,
Jay all day, dog. I'm Jay all day.
Oh, yeah.
I'm Jay all day.
I mean,
He ain't better than Nas.
I like Nas, but I feel like even if he's not better, I still want Hov. You know what I mean?
And I understand it, but
Who you want at the party?
Hov.
I don't know if I want either one of them at the party.
Right,
like
'cause
what
you ain't gonna be the
songs?
star. You won't be
What
the
you
star.
mean?
no
Oh,
more.
walking in the party?
Your party, your birthday
Oh,
party.
I'm bringing
Oh,
Esco.
man.
Hov, man, please bring. I bet you Esco get the most women in the party. You
Hold
put
on.
Nas on your plugger. You put Hov on your plugger.
See, 'cause do we
Nas gonna
gotta
have the
go
most
to
women.
I'm gonna put on. Let me. So
Don't forget what Hov did.
And Hov didn't become popular till he got Beyonce.
In tribute to my man too, though, right? When I look at who you go put on the flyer, if you put Nas and Jay on the flyer, you gonna see all them bras at Jay, and you gonna see like all Fortune 50 brands coming to see Jay. I mean, Nas is gonna have the chicks.
Right.
Jay is gonna have the Fortune 50 brands, and the capitalist pig in me says I could do better with the CEOs, and then I'm gonna go get the chicks afterwards.
Gino.
Yeah, well.
Because you know who did you know what? Well, you know who. Let's keep that
Is that on the
between
baby
me and
seat?
you, okay?
Yeah.
Nah, that's a woman. Nas knew who she was before all of that
You
happened.
shouldn't have had that baby there.
You think Hov won that battle?
Yes.
How did he not
Over
win?
Ether?
Y'all high?
I mean,
Yeah.
do I
How
gotta
did he
turn?
not
What
win?
mic is? What's wrong with your mic?
Did y'all hear Blueprint too?
Wait, ether, just the word ether has become part of the lexicon. I ether dude. Like, come on, man. This man changed. He's like Steph in basketball. He changed the game.
That was cool. Hov took him to a point where Nas was madder than we ever seen him.
The two greatest battle records in the history of hip hop is the bitch and you by Common and Ether by Nas.
There you go. There
Period.
you go. That's it.
Okay.
Period. Period. And maybe no Vaseline.
Hey,
Them
my
three.
man, I am God said, man, Gino, you need me in there with you, bro. We ain't honoring no Esco slander. Stop playing with the guys.
And it's not even Esco slander.
It's not a
'cause
slander.
You're talking about Nas.
Hey,
I feel
man.
like we all
I'm-
Nas
can
fans.
Did y'all hear of Hov's? What did y'all hear on Reasonable
What is
Doubt?
this Hov
Wait,
slander?
Everything.
I ain't gonna do that. Reasonable Doubt is classic.
But who was he
Hotline-
sampling on Reasonable Doubt?
The hotline. He was sampling the hotline and turning it into a hot song.
Nah, that
That's
sounded
what
good.
he was doing.
That sounded good.
It worked.
just
It worked.
wanna-
That
Perfect
sounded-
timing.
See that he's fake, the rap version of TD Jakes prophesizing on your CDs.
I love that.
Won't break you a crumb off the little bit that he makes. And this is with whom we want to
So
place your face.
do we need to spit the whole?
Cut
Do
your
we need
face
to
in that
spit
song
the?
you could come up with. I mean, I'm just saying.
Do we
It's-
need to
it's
spit
just-
the whole? Do we need? What was the first line off of Ether when the song first came
Man,
on?
you love my style. Come on,
You've been on my dick.
I love
Excuse
Ether.
my language. Yeah, you been on my dick, nigga. You love my style, nigga.
Yeah.
Queens niggas run you niggas. As Russell Simmons.
Send Hov to the moon with that. He got
Man,
him tight.
you gonna
Now
carry
he
me to the
canceled. Now he
kills
canceled.
everything right there.
Now he putting Mars careers on ice.
There it is.
Gilly the
And-
Kid, them.
and there's exactly. You want
Yeah,
the
that
balls?
Gilly conversation was so disrespectful.
What conversation?
Oh, that was so disrespectful.
What conversation?
Your man Hov, G, he's the devil, G. He's the Antichrist. I ain't gonna lie, lyrically I love him. I can't lie, lyrically I'm a
Wait,
fan.
the Gilly the Kid. What
But what
that
he
t-
does outside of that booth is so disrespectful.
Hov was trying to sign Major Figures. Gilly, remember Major Figures? Gilly
Uh-huh.
and this guy, that group. They turned the deal down.
He cut him off.
Hov said, "Now I'm gonna make it hard for you." Then what was the song on Dear? What was the lyric on Dear Summer?
I don't know.
I know y'all. I know you know Dear Summer.
Drop it again.
Something about I put
Oh,
a
yeah.
couple
Do,
careers
do,
on.
do,
I put a
do,
couple
do,
careers
do,
on
do,
hold.
do,
Don't
do.
be you next kid.
Yeah.
Gilly the Kid.
Hey, kid.
He's not
Hey,
just
man.
a kid, but
Yeah,
you know
What he
I'm
say?
talking
He
about.
said,
Yeah.
"You fuck with the big dog, now I gotta bite you."
I agree.
Right? Hey,
I agree.
Joe,
It's in the
you
danger zone.
know who you
But that's-
know who you fucking with.
I could respect that if you was getting fucked with. The
Hey, man.
problem is he just turned down a slavery deal. You wasn't getting fucked with. You just said, no, this ain't for me.
So now you
Hey,
signed
man.
state property and put them together, and you got the world thinking them guys was homies and came up in Philly. Beans and Freeway was like, man, Oskino like, man, I ain't know them before we signed to the Rock. They threw us all in the room together, and we became state property.
Y'all are state property.
Y'all
I
are
got
state
you.
property, and you're gonna film these 2 songs, and you're gonna take these slave deals.
And you're gonna
they
take
should've-
the and
I
you
don't
gonna
even-
and you gonna treat Nas like he killed your cousin.
You heard that? Oh, so you went back and watched.
He was like, yes,
Wasn't that great, man?
That was epic. He was like, "Hey man, son, when you go in there, I want you to act like he killed your cousin. When you get at him, just act like he killed your cousin." I didn't realize that. I didn't feel like Ether was that damaging to Hove's career, but apparently, like listening to that Owen Sparks, that Oshino thing, I didn't realize it was that big a deal. And I felt like we was smack dab in the middle of the Rockefeller thing during that time.
Right.
And I felt like it was almost invincible. I mean, we used to drive that truck, bro, and chicks would run us off the road trying to get. I just never knew that. I never knew that it had gotten to that level. I felt the worst was when it was with Cam and them. Right. Okay. That's when I was like, oh, this is not going right.
Right.
But I never thought that Ether was that damaging. And I also feel like when I used to listen to Ether, I didn't feel like it was engineered well.
Like Ether?
I feel
that was a Ron Browse production.
I just feel like it wasn't engineered well to the point where I felt like I was struggling to even really get I didn't feel like the emphasis was on the words at some point.
Okay.
And so I don't know. I just didn't. I felt like you a big lip dummy. Get your ass up out of here with that, Nas. Go, shorty. Go, shorty.
We'll see.
But in my face, y'all some well-wishing, friendly acting. Envy had snakes.
Look,
yeah.
I feel you. I hear you. I hear you.
See now,
Jay.
And then I feel like he did tag Jay with the how many of Biggie's words gonna come out your fat lips. You know what I mean?
And he ain't the only one that said that over the years. Everybody says Hov is a biter, not a writer.
I would say Jay. You see, again, here I am, capitalist pig. I'm saying that motherfucker is on the board of Square now, right? Like he is now. Now you're talking about this dude has now left the atmosphere. He is no longer even in the atmosphere. And I know about the Gilly the Kid, but I also think how many people he's made millionaires. And you look at his team and you look at the people around him. I don't know, man. I just think the dude is a business genius, and I think a lot of people don't understand business. I think a lot of people understand wanting to get wealthy, but I don't know if people necessarily understand the choices that come with business sometimes. And sometimes you just gotta go. You make a decision whether you're gonna be if you're gonna be average or you're going to excel. And then some people make the decision to cut. Some people say I'm gonna stay down here.
And then I feel like that part always it never ends not sticky. And I feel like that's why we always hear the sides of the story where you got Beans upset, you got Dame upset.
But Beans did itself.
He did.
Beans did itself. And Hov, let me say this. Just like Dude said, you made Jay, make another Jay. Don't man.
Hov, make another Hov.
That's my point.
Further, if you're Kanye West, who you going with? Are you going with Hov or
I'm
Dame?
still with Hov.
Why you think me and Dame cool? We assholes.
And that, but see now, it's business though. That was a hot line, but this is business. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, you see what that ended up with Kanye and Hov though.
Well, hold up, though. I think we got a misinterpretation of business as well, though. Right? So we talk that shit, but Kanye got more money than Jay, and I ain't talking about the 6.6 that they announced yesterday. I'm talking about before yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So we talk about Jay as if he's this ultra businessman. Really, he's great at branding. Same as Kanye.
Branding is business. That's his business, though.
He just got licensing deals. My face is in there. I can use my face, attach it to other business people.
Kanye got some business deals. The Gap.
I don't. Here's me. I don't
still
debate
licensing deal.
I'm not debating. Like, first of all, I'm not debating what type of businessman, right? So, Kanye is a type of businessman. Jay-Z is a type of businessman. There are two different types. Now, where Jay is going, I think Jay is looking for board and looking for opportunities to. I think when you're on the board of a corporation, you are trying to shape future, right? And I feel like when I look at Ye, he's building a brand for himself and he's building millions of dollars, but I don't know how much power he has that goes with that. I don't know how much. Can Kanye pick up the phone and say, okay, we're gonna make you not a fashion company, but yo, I got Square now, right? I'm financing half the money in the country is going through the board that I sit on. And I think there's a different way. Kanye got $6 billion, but he could be broke. I feel like Jay got stocks in Fortune 500, not even the Fortune 500 has changed, right? And so he now in Tesla, he got board seats, like board seats. Dude could keep on making money, but I don't know if he's going to move into that stratosphere where you are now making more people make more money. That's all. That's me.
See now, what's the latest on Nas behind the scenes?
That's what I'm saying. You talking about business? Nas is one of the.
I think the story that I hear of Nas, and I'm not tripping out at all, is that he has made some brilliant investments. Right, brilliant investments. I have not necessarily seen. I don't know if Nas has, in making those investments though, does he shape the way people view stuff, or does he have a say in the view of the world? I think Jay has a seat at the table. Now, I think when you only got one board seat, you still got to limit it. It's like you talk to John Rogers. John Rogers will tell you, one black dude on the board, you can be like, hey, excuse me. I think Jay's sphere of influence, though, because even trading title for a piece of Square, it ain't that many people doing that.
Now,
ain't nobody doing that.
What's
and
the
Nas
first
ain't
thing
doing that.
When you guys hear this word, bevel. I mean, I feel like
a watch.
I mean, I got bevel because of Nas.
Exactly, it's the first thing. The
bevel.
blades.
The hair product company.
Never
Clippers.
heard of
Yes,
it.
I feel you. I understand that.
Square.
Hey, man.
I never heard of bevel. I didn't.
Hey, man.
And isn't Nas like Uber, though?
Huh?
Nas is heavily into the digital space. But I don't
Jay
even
is
like
at
that
Uber,
argument.
too, though. I mean, Jay is at the Uber, too. I mean, I'm saying, like, they all traded. Jay, Beyonce, all of those artists traded their equity. They said, okay, I'm going to do, like, I'm not going to pay, you're not going to pay me $1 million for Coachella. Give me my points. Beyonce got that, too.
Yeah, I don't even like the economic argument, though.
I mean, but then you're not talking about, let me not say you're not, because I can't speak for you. But I'm saying that I think that if you're, and fundamentally, if you are in business, the goal of business is to make money. Yes? No. Now, if you in a nonprofit, then the goal is to do socially good. But if you're in a business, and I think where people want to mix altruism, and this is, I often make this mistake of trying to mix altruism with business. And it's like people vacillate between altruism and business. So I think if you're trying to do a business, you got to say, how do I make money with the business? Now, if you're saying that profit is not an issue, then you're not talking about a business. You're talking about a nonprofit.
But see now, when you're talking about what is a business, can a business just have a different philosophy than just, I'm just going to step on everybody?
I don't think that you have to step on anybody, but if you're going to call it a business.
But if the overall goal is to make money, then you're stepping
Eventually
on
you're going to
There's
have
entire philosophies called
socialism.
What is it? It's another term for capitalism. It's like doing good where everybody else does good. Compassionate capitalism, right? So there's no, seriously, that's a real theory.
There is. That's a whole concept. But it's still capitalism, right?
It's still capitalism.
And that's what I'm saying. So if you say you're taking the economics out, you're not talking about business. Compassionate or not. Like, I don't believe, like, I'll be honest with you. I think we do business, or we're attempting to do business, and we're attempting to be compassionate. Now, I think that what you find is that in that, the people who have the ability to be compassionate in their capitalism have probably already succeeded. They've been capitalist pigs, and then they learn after all of the time, they be like, I got to do something good. But I don't think that you can say you're in business and not be concerned about a profit and be concerned about economics.
But the reason I say I don't like bringing in the economics to the conversation because it changes the conversation.
And that's what I was about to say. We
We
started talking about artists.
Oh, wait,
Are
this
we
is
having
business?
a conversation
Okay.
about business, or we having a conversation about artistry?
Right.
And then, Mays mentioned altruism, but we black. And for us to have a philosophy around we can just compromise or move through capitalism in the way that the white man has traditionally moved through capitalism, in my mind, is a falsehood. That's my personal opinion, right? And even if we're going to really get deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into it, right, at its core, specifically in the economic arena that we're currently in, I don't know if capitalism is just about capital. It's more about power and obtaining resource.
I agree.
Money's changing hands. Like, we finna get rid of fiat currency anyway, right? So if you're not in the right spaces, it won't matter at all. It's going to go back to what do you own in regards to, like, resource, right? I own oil. I own gravel. I own
But
gasoline.
that will then become
You know what I mean?
But that then becomes the commodity that we trade for capital, right? Like whether it's shells, whether it's dollar bills, and I fundamentally believe, right, that in the realm of where we as black folks, we have this concept. It's like we vacillate between two worlds. We want to be socialist, and everybody like it just seems to me like we have a issue with people that choose capitalism or choose to profit, right? Like it seems like
Question for you, Maze.
Go ahead.
Does everybody else vacillate between them two worlds?
Who is everybody else?
I mean, every other ethnic group.
Yeah.
With the exception of white folks.
Vacillate between the two worlds.
That kind of, it's us and how do we generate our own capital.
Yeah.
Right? Because when the Asians get their capital, we always talk about how the Asians create their own communities. Right? But they create their communities by those who make capital, reinvesting in their communities. Right.
I'm
The white man don't have to do that because he owns every goddamn thing in America. So every investment is a reinvestment in my own community. If I go to Starbucks, that's a reinvestment in my own community.
I'm lost. I kind of got lost in the mix.
I'm saying that we have this kind of concept where our capitalism is not, we model ourselves after white philosophies. We just do. Every institution in America is based on white supremacy. It just is what it is. And because we have no real cultural capital, because we have no real origin of our culture or no real full understanding of what it means to be black culture, we move like white people move. So we make the investment.
Or we move
without bringing it back so it circulates to our community. Whereas with every other community, every other ethnic group, they're playing the capitalist game, but they're moving in the socialist philosophy within the confines of their communities. Everybody. So everybody's playing on both sides, with the exception of us and white folks. Different is, every side is white folks' side. So they playing on both sides, just breathing.
No, I think that the black folks that are making money or attempting to make money play on both sides. I think that there are people, though, that want to place their judgments because of where you're at in that space. Because I feel like this. Check it out. I feel like you're damned if you do, if you make money as a black person and try and help, or you're damned if you don't. Like, if you make money and you... Go ahead.
So what's trying to help?
I mean, I think that's on each person, right? Like, it's trying to help is defined by you.
Okay,
like
so
you don't get to, nobody gets to say how much the value of my help is.
So back to the origin of the conversation, we're talking about Hov.
Mm-hmm.
How is Hov trying to help? I'm not saying he is or he isn't, but how is Hov trying to help?
I would say that Hov, first of all, I would start by saying that he's not a drag on our economy, right? So I would start by saying that, are you supporting yourself? Like, do you and your crew require any of my money to be okay? So I start there. So I think he's straight with him and his crew.
Who's his crew?
Whoever his crew is. Like, what's the little boy? What's the short dude?
High,
all of them guys, right? So let's start with that group, right? What? You saying they not?
Man.
I'm not saying, like, first of all, here's the other problem.
Hov, the only one of them guys who's still on his feet. Everybody else that went to jail, had to re-up. Hov, the only one of them guys that somehow.
And they all still with him.
No, not all of
Dame
them.
with him.
That's what I'm saying. The original three. Biggs had to go to jail. Dame had to lose and fall off and try to come back.
What about Emery? Yeah, I mean,
Emery did it. Emery did 10.
Emery did 10.
But Emery was in a joint without them.
That's what I'm saying.
But they came right back
with Hov.
Everything.
But he didn't come right back. He got introduced. He didn't go through the motions with Hov. He didn't build nothing with Hov.
I thought he built with Hov before he left.
He was.
I thought he was Hov's man
was.
before he left, and then he came home.
Emery went away.
Mm-hmm. Came
Biggs
back.
went away.
Okay.
Dame fell off. None of the artists.
I guess my question was, were those his crew? But that wasn't, to me, that wasn't his crew. They were like business associates.
Who, Dame and
I think
and
they
Biggs
were
was
the business.
That's what I'm saying. The
And
guys that own Rockefeller.
If you look at the story,
Mm-hmm.
Leah Cohen understood that there was profit there that he couldn't make with
Dame
with that black business arm there.
Yeah, he's messing up.
I need to get these black people out the way.
Liar Cohen.
Liar Cohen.
Liar Cohen.
So I can control the commodity.
I can get Hov. If I can get Hov away from them two guys who really want to stick to black business and build that up.
Get out of here.
I feel like this, right? So are you saying that Hov is a positive or negative to black folks?
I'm not saying he's
I'm just asking.
I'm not saying he's a negative.
I'm going to flat out say he's a negative.
Okay.
I'm going to flat out say it's a negative. And I think all of them is negatives in a lot of ways now that I'm getting older, right? I think there's this decadent veil of capitalism that we believe in. And I think it's part of our
Mars thinking they're going to be billionaires.
misunderstanding of black culture.
So it's negative because he gives false hope, basically, is what you're saying. You know what I mean? As to what, like, the reality of the ceiling is.
Yeah, it's a lie. They sell this aspirational dream that's just not real.
Who then, and I'm not saying Hov, I'm just saying who is positive for black folks in the business space?
In the business space?
Because, I mean, realistically, we ain't getting out of this bad boy with no social services. We ain't getting out of this bad boy. So who do we look
how
to?
you look at it. But I think Dame, even if we stay in this realm, I think Dame is a positive in the black business space.
think
we talk about Dame like he fell off, but that ain't really real, right? He fell off in comparison to Hov and Hov's visibility. But in regards to like a young black businessman, Dame ain't fell off. Let's keep it a buck. He's a multi-millionaire. That's not falling off in the black business space. We know the numbers. That's not normal. You know what I mean?
But if you compare it to, like you said, the multitude and what people think business, not even black business, but business, if you're comparing Dame, who's on the soil building networks in his own crib and that type of thing, versus Hov, who's, like you just said, out of the stratosphere, then of course Dame looked like he fell off.
I wouldn't suggest that Dame fell off.
Not you, not us who have an inkling of what's going on. I'm talking about the masses.
But see, isn't it simpler with Dame? Like, we're talking about businesses. Didn't he just burn bridges and you don't do that in business? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Isn't it Dame is a
But is he
bad
burning
businessman?
bridges because he fully grasps and understands ownership? So he goes on the Breakfast Club and tells them to work for your last name, and they think he's a goddamn idiot. 10 years later, they like, well, Dame was kind of right. Because he called them employees. And essentially, they are employees. Now, Dame's energy might be taken one way. But his information is.
But the information is the presentation, though. So it's like this. You can all day have the best information in the world, but if you a dick giving it, guess what? It falls on deaf ears.
We just had a dick president.
But I'm not talking about the president. I'm talking about Dame Dash being able to have impact on our community, right? If you are trying to move the ball, right? If you are trying to advance, somebody has to say, I'm not going to be the MF guy. I'm going to be the guy that has to go into the meeting, wear the suit, sit up there and say all the stuff and smile and eat the shit so that I can come back and deliver to the team. Now, if you ain't got a team to deliver to, I don't know if I agree with that. If you hold on, let me just finish this. If you have a team to feed, then you have different choices to make. If you're only operating for yourself, I talk about this with my guy Alderman Burnett all the time, right? People like, you kiss ass all the time. He's got 300 people working, so he has to kiss ass of all of those people, right, that control those jobs to make sure that those people are able to provide for their families. And I think oftentimes we like, man, I'm gonna go in this place and I'm gonna kick the butt and I'm gonna be. That ain't how we move the ball all the time.
Man, you think you got to kiss ass as an owner?
Huh?
In any capacity. You think you got to kiss ass as an owner?
Kiss ass is probably a bad word. But I do think that, man, I believe that as an owner, you have to manage all aspects of the business to keep it going. And so if I'm talking to the bank, right, on rent day, I ain't walking in that mug like, yo, suck my dick. I'm walking in there like a presentation. And I think I find it interesting oftentimes, again, if you have a team to be responsible for, you have different responsibilities. And I have to put my there's many times I could walk in a room and be like, fuck everybody in here because I got more money than everybody. But because I have other people who would be negatively impacted by me taking that position, I have to check myself. And I check myself for the betterment of the team, right? And yes, as an owner, there are many times when I have to do things that I would ordinarily never do if I didn't have a team. Without a doubt. I'd be like, there's many times I wouldn't even entertain a conversation. But if you have other people you are responsible for whose livelihoods depend on it, right? Then you have different decisions to make. And those people, when you come home and say, it's just, you come home, like when I do the Maze Jackson show, I have to, like, literally now I can't do business at the state. Now, we had to come up with a plan to go around that. Now, you could say Maze Jackson every day. You could talk shit. You could do whatever. But at a certain point, if this place is going to be profitable, I got to start thinking about what I'm going to say.
Quick question.
Go.
You think that's a remnant of white supremacy, though? And I said, see.
No, I don't think it's a remnant of white supremacy. I
Hear
think
what
it's
I'm saying?
business. I think it's business. You're not always in the control spot. But go ahead.
Hear what I'm saying, though, man. Like, from our perspective specifically, I got a team, too, right? I got a bunch of workers that got to eat. That's my goddamn team. You know what I mean?
I got you.
And they relying on me. But I remember very early on in my career path, man, I went to a meeting, and I'm just going to give you this whole example because it was so interesting to me. I went to a meeting, and I'm not going to say with who, but it was a high-level, high-ranking city official. High-ranking, right? And the project was for, like, I don't know, $75,000 or something. But at that time, $75,000 in one swap would have changed my whole life. You know what I mean? So I'm in the meeting, and I took this very, very, very seriously because I needed $75,000. We leaving out the meeting. I was introduced to this conversation by a Cook County Commissioner. So the Cook County Commissioner sat in the meeting with the elected official. We're leaving out the meeting, and the Cook County Commissioner says to me, Tucson, I didn't know you had a problem with gay people. And this shit threw me for a loop. I'm like, man, what are you talking? Who's gay? Right? This is my response. And he was like, man, your whole energy was in there like you had a problem with him being homosexual. Now, here's my perspective, right? My perspective that my energy was very serious and very forthright and very to the point that I knew exactly what I was going to do here, right? And it was aggressive in the sense that I wanted to win this contract, right? But it came off as just because a black man operating in a space of fullness, it came off as aggressive because they used. Think about how we get viewed right now. Think about who gets pushed into those positions. Think about why we had this conversation of masculinity. You can't even find a masculine black man in the grocery store today. Working. I'm serious. I'm not being funny. Go to Starbucks. Go to the grocery store. I wonder if any masculine black men have jobs. Because everywhere you go, they've been nullified and dumbed down to this very feminine position. Don't stand
that's
up.
Probably why. That's probably why. Because that's a broad statement.
So are we let me just ask this question. Are we just going to blend these two shows together and just run them over? You might as well.
We might as well.
We might as well.
I feel you on the correlation people make with masculinity and how it comes off as anti everything else. You know what I mean? But I feel like the fact of the matter is that masculinity is a little bit broader than I think we give credit
a spectrum,
for.
surely.
You know what I mean?
It's surely a spectrum. But we're not confused. Let's not be confused, T. Let's not play the game like we don't know what's happening. Let's not act like those guys that we see, the black representation, the black manhood that we see in the public sphere, mainly in retail, because that's where we see people work.
You don't see it at all, right?
I'm asking y'all, do you see it? I'm not going to take a stance.
The image of men in general, I feel like on the mainstream is disintegrating. You know what I mean? Just regardless of what it is, a man, period. I mean, you look at the Democratic Party and it's no man. But I want to bring it back real quick. Let me bring it back to Dame. You know what I mean? I feel like we're doing it a disservice if we look at his situation with Jay as his only artist, as his only swing at business. For homework, I encourage y'all to look at how it went down with his next artist, which happened to be Currency. Dame, the creative control brand, and Currency, and how they ended up in the courts. You know what I mean? So I feel like we get a better perspective on who Dame is as a businessman if we look at what went down after Jay, or at least how he tried to keep up. You know what I mean? And he ended up at complete odds, getting sued.
And we could do the same thing with Jay.
I was about to say
Jay got that
and
same
we
history.
could do that with a whole bunch of other people.
But see, now we don't hear that though.
But can I say
know why you
that Dame got dead wrong.
We know why we don't hear it too, though.
That cause hey man, if you gonna be the big
connectivity to the power source.
That's period.
So are we okay? So I guess my question is, and this is fundamentally, how do we participate, right? Like, how do we move ahead? It's like we say that we operate in a white power structure, right? We don't have we haven't broken it. We all still got to eat. Now, should we all eat at the same level? Should we all just say nobody makes 100, everybody make 100 grand, that's it? I just feel like you've got to have people that advance the ball. If you ain't never even been to the room, for somebody to even say, hey, yo, y'all know it's something going on over here? Y'all need to come up. And I think we spend more time judging people against we spend more time judging people against a standard that really doesn't exist, right? There is no universal, like, okay, this is how black folks supposed to do each other. So it's like when one person gets ahead, then it's like, well, that dude probably did X, Y, Z, A, B, C, or I don't agree with it. Like, real talk.
That's the answer to your question right there, though.
What?
We got to create the standard.
Okay, but until there's a standard, what you measuring somebody against?
Standard, whose standard are we operating off of?
I'm saying I'm operating off my own standard. Like I
think that's a falsehood.
That's a falsehood to you. Like
no, I'm saying it's a falsehood theoretically, right? There's a social standard, period. So even when we get bread, even at a low level, if you get bread in O Block, first thing you do is stun on everybody in O Block.
And you go to Gucci.
Exactly. Right.
That's
But whose standard is that, y'all?
But I'm saying like that.
Whose standard is that?
No, that's not the first thing you do. Like, I think depends. If you're on O Block, that's the first thing you do. If I make something, you ain't even gonna know I made it.
If you get bread on 87th Street, how do we think about?
I'm not on 87th. You talking about me, Maze?
Bronzeville. I don't care.
No, but I'm saying, is it me or are we talking about the brothers?
I'm saying us. I ain't talking you directly. I'm saying us as a community.
Go ahead.
How we move. This is how we move.
I agree.
Right. So the cats who got bread in the 80s from 87th Street or from 95th Street that then suddenly moved their house to
Arlington Heights.
South Holland or Madison or whatever. It's the same concept. It's just different levels of capital.
Yeah, but
I agree with that because I feel like even when you look across the spectrum at Hove, Diddy, you know what I mean? The white people feel the same way about Jimmy Iovine or homie from Virgin. I just feel like that construct, the people from the bottom, when you're looking up at the top, always going to have a problem with the couple of people that's at the top.
See, I hate comparing it to Jimmy Iovine, right? I hate. Well, Jimmy Iovine's Jewish, right?
Yeah.
So let's compare it to Jimmy Iovine. Because there is a certain sector how the Jewish community moves. Every money that they make, there's a certain percentage that gets reinvested into the Jewish community in a real way. That's a cultural, structural thing. That's a standard. So you might look at Jimmy Iovine one way. You can look at Rahm Emanuel one way. And Mays knows this for fact. Every board in this city sits some very high-powered Jewish people, all presented there, and they all collectively invest in the Jewish community of Chicago. And that's a rotating door years and years and years and years over. So yeah, they might have this much more money than the next guy, but they still have a commitment to the community at large. Same thing with the age. That's the argument I'm making. We don't have a standard. So the standard that we use is the white standard because they don't have to have a standard because they own it all. If I get up every day and go shop, I'm reinvesting in my white community if I'm a white man. There's no way to avoid it. If I go to Starbucks, that's reinvesting in my community.
I'm lost. If
I go to the grocery store, that's it's still supporting white businesses. They don't have to have a standard.
What I'm getting from that is that's the aspect that's missing from when black people run things. You know what I mean? Like, that's where it stops. You know what I mean? It stops at the power and the money, and there's no real investment to the actual community.
And I think
I'd argue there ain't no power. It's just money.
I would argue
a facade of power, or what? Like,
I think there's levels to power.
What people end up thinking is power.
There's levels to power. And I think there's levels to power. And I feel like we don't have a standard, but we're trying to hold people to an imaginary standard, right? So it's like there is no standard at all. Let's just say there's no black standard. But we say you ain't did enough. Enough of what?
It's competing ideologies, though. Again, remnants of slavery. Our whole ideology is based in aspiration, right? So there is this cultural impact. Where
is that everybody?
Hey, man, we expect X, Y, Z from you. Mm-hmm. Then there's another community that say, man, you don't owe them shit. But that's the basis. Until we get that structure, that's going to be a competing conversation forever. But those who say you don't owe them shit is basing that structure on what standard?
Who are the people that say that we don't owe them shit? Like what? I'm sorry. I'm just sorry. I've never seen
You ain't never heard our community talk about other residents in our community talk about how that resident of our community don't owe us nothing?
Not really. No, I'm not. Wait, I'm saying like, I feel like if I've never heard anybody that's achieved and said, I ain't got to try and give back to my community. Now, how they do it is judged by the other people. But I've never seen, I'm gonna say never, that's a bad word, but I can't imagine somebody being like, yo, I've achieved, and it's like, yo, I don't care nothing about black people. I haven't really seen that. Now, maybe a Ward Connerly or somebody crazy like that, but I think everybody that I've seen has some way or some semblance of their idea of giving back, whether it's they gave to Black Lives Matter, and because there is no standard, right? Because we don't control that. So if he let out 50 million people out of jail and paid for them to get out, that don't count. What counts? And to me, oftentimes, it's like, that's why I say it's very difficult to succeed in the world of hotepness, right? Because in the world of
that bothers me, Maze. I just can't let you let that slide.
Wait, hold on.
What the fuck is a hotepness?
The world of hotepness, in my mind, right? In my mind is this, we have people that vacillate between a state of consciousness and capitalism, right? And it's like, it's capitalism when it's me, but it's consciousness when it's not. And I just feel like real talk, somebody's got to succeed. And it's like, it seems like the black folks be like, anybody succeeds, that nigga ain't real because, he didn't come to the meeting?
But even that statement, G, is a reflection of the problem in my mind, right?
I mean,
we didn't turn hotep into a derogatory term. Whose standard is that, y'all?
I think the standard...
Nigga is positive and hotep is negative.
I don't say nigga is positive, but I'm going to tell you, here's what I say. But while you telling me hotep, are you embodying that? Right? Like most of the hotep people...
We embodying hotep.
But we're not...
At peace.
I got you. So I'm saying, but oftentimes the hotep people, the people that... And I used to use hotep all the time, right? Kind of got cliche, right? The people that are in... And I'm not... Let me say not the state of hotepness. The state of... We have a conscious state of black people who are so conscious that they are out of touch. Like they miss the people that they need to be talking to. They miss the people that need to hear them. So oftentimes the level of consciousness is so much greater than the people that need your consciousness that you talking past them. You talking over them. And I just push back on that. Like, I feel like this. There are so many people that I have seen that try to do good in the realm that they have with no standard. Like, no standard. There is no universal group. There's nothing that we do. So name a black person that's been wealthy or successful that we've said good job. Give me one. Give me one. Give me somebody who has made millions of dollars, done well, and you said he did good by the black community.
Muhammad Ali.
Okay.
You go down the list.
Elijah Muhammad.
I'm talking about, okay, we could do the Muhammad Ali's. Okay, let me back up.
We said the same thing about Jay-Z.
I'm not holding. Okay, so can I say this though? Like, real talk, we just talking about rappers. I have no expectation of Jay-Z beyond the fact that he's an entertainer, and I hope that he gives money. Now, we having a battle. This was a rap battle, right? And I probably introduced the business component of it to it. But I do think it gets to the point of, again, who have we said, who's done a good job? Who black has done a good job according to the standards of the most woke people?
Who makes the money, though? Who makes the money? All we got is entertainers and athletes. If you look at the masses,
let's keep it a buck.
But I'm not debating that. Who's done a good job?
Let's keep it a buck.
That's my point.
Wait a minute.
Who's done a good job? Go ahead.
Only one generation made some money.
I agree. That's why I'm like. That's why I'm thinking back. That's why I'm like.
We got
well,
one generation of people that made some money.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So to think that one generation got it figured out would be foolish.
Who said the that's?
But I'm just saying, if we're talking about who's made the money, who are we talking about?
Well, I mean,
are we talking about money? Bob Johnson?
Bob Johnson,
and John Rogers?
Bob Johnson, John Rogers, Jay-Z, not Craig Hodges didn't make them. Whoever. I'm saying
Michael Jordan.
Tell me anybody black. Him too. Tell me straight up.
I just pulled up I think it's 17 billionaires, black billionaires nationwide.
There's 17 black billionaires nationwide.
Not nationwide. I'm saying globally. I'm sorry, not even nationwide. Globally.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Out of the 17, I think 7 are African American.
Okay.
There's 17 billionaires
global.
17 black.
Yep.
And that means African across the diaspora.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Global.
Yeah. Come on.
7 of them are
black.
And that might be a stretch. It might be less than 7. I'm estimating at this point because I don't remember verbatim.
Okay.
But out of the 7, I think 2 were not entertainers. If it was 7.
And which would be? Do you remember who?
My man who gave the money to Morehouse to his kids.
Paid the tuition for the.
I can't remember.
He married a white lady though,
Robert,
so that don't
whatever
count.
his name is.
Yes.
And one other dude who I didn't know, and he had an African name, but he's an American. He's a resident of America.
Got it.
I didn't know who he was.
And
but
all the
everybody
rest
else was
are
African.
And all the rest are
African.
Because they got
Businessmen, I'm
global,
assuming. I
right?
don't
But
know.
they global, right? But so I understand that part. So I'm saying, where is our access point?
Hove.
No, I'm not saying Hove. I'm saying name a black person that anybody in the space of our wokeness or whatever. I don't want to diss the piece. Tell me somebody black that has whether it's an entertainer, whether it's an athlete, whether it is a politician. Tell me somebody that black folks think did all right by black people.
Also, is that the standard?
This is my question.
Is that the value asset? Because I can name a bunch of poor people that's done more for black people than all them rich people.
I'm saying, so two, in your world, who black has done straight by black people that wasn't a poor person? Who has done, tell me somebody that's done straight by black people. Because I feel like, again, there's this imaginary standard that exists. Like, how do you measure somebody that's poor against somebody that you don't even know what they did? Like, again, I just feel like we in this space of this consciousness. And I will say this until the day I die. More conscious people in their elevated state run people away who need their message more than anybody else to me. Because we're so elevated. I almost feel like we think they're stupid. And I just feel like we gotta talk to people. And it's like this whole, like when you listen to VON, right? It's like the people that need our message are not the people who are listening to us. The people who need our message are the people that's listening to GCI, to all those other places. And we're at such a high level of consciousness that we miss the people that need us the most. And that just, to me, is this consciousness where, like, dog, name somebody that's done anything of a standard that anybody woke would appreciate.
But I get what you're saying, but I'm just saying, like, back to, I guess, what Cuz is saying. It's like, well, what's the standard?
I'm telling you to ask me. I'm asking you.
What's doing good by...
He said he knows more poor people that have done way more than those rich people. So tell me, what was the standard that you're using
for black people?
Okay, but what was the standard that you're using? Tell me. That would be the basis.
Interest in black people.
Give me the standard.
That's what I just said. That was the standard, an interest in black people.
Tell me what they did in the interest of black people that makes them...
Just the galvanizing... We could just name the mosque itself or the programs that come up out of the mosque. That's itself, by its very nature of it being there. Located there has done more than... I don't want to say done more than, right? Because that's
my
sliding
point.
Scale, right? Is
it a standard? No, but if there's a standard, then we know where it's at.
But that's what I'm saying.
Standard.
But we can't make that argument because there is no standard. That's the argument I keep making, right? So the value asset is creating the standard. And when we don't have a standard, we have to ask ourselves, when those people do, what standard are they abiding by? So when you hear this backlash, it's because one group is saying, hey, I give a shit at least. I at least have an idea. I at least care. Then the other group is saying,
So are
I'm
you
gonna get these
suggesting
big rims to stand on everybody in O Block?
That's the people. So are you? I would argue that the people on O Block probably have done less to contribute to the well-being of their community collectively than probably 3/4 had it. Does a donation to the United Negro College Fund count? I'm asking you what the standard is, right? Because again.
I can make it. I'm
saying,
and I agree, but Hove can make it.
The answer to that is yes.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. But it's like you can make a donation to the UNCF and don't give a fuck about the UNCF.
But you cannot give a fuck about the UNCF.
UNCF
period.
just got their first black.
And we've been saying on it, and that's another white standard. And we've been saying since day one, a mind is a terrible thing to waste. Y'all, like this is my thing, right? And it's like until we come up with and start to work towards agreement, like I'm not buying into nobody telling me which standard is the standard, because it ain't one. And it's like people get to pick when they feel like you did enough or you didn't do enough. If you ain't got $1 million
by us, but there is one.
And see now, I feel like you brought up a good point. Does the money
Yes,
count?
and then
but see now, does it though? Because to your point, they
the money always counts.
Not giving the
The
time.
The money always
again.
counts.
Like they giving $1, but they not giving the time or the investment.
But even if they giving
I
$1,
paid for
if
the
it's
time.
not focused giving, it don't mean nothing.
that's what
LeBron got the
that's
whole
what I'm
school in
saying.
Akron. Who's he serving? Who's he serving? What percentage of Akron is black? So we, as a group, stand up and say, God damn it, LeBron, you the man.
Is that white kids
Jalen
going to
Rose
the
got
school?
a whole black school. Don't nobody talk about that
Is
shit.
it kids? But let me ask a question: are white kids going to the school, or are black kids going to the school?
I ain't got no headphones. I couldn't hear that one.
I said, are black kids going to the school in Akron, or are white kids?
White
are
kids.
you? Wait, LeBron's school is all white kids.
It's the vast majority is white. Yeah,
Okay.
like 80-something%.
Okay. Then I'm gonna let that ride. I'm gonna stand down on that. But what I will say is this: again, I don't believe that there's a standard, and I think that we set standards based on our own convenience, right, where it makes us fit, right. So I really have stopped trying to judge people on what their contribution is. Like, and even in this conversation with Jay, this wasn't even about blackness really. This was about who I want to have in my party and who I think I can get the most influence and use the most sphere of influence to do the most good that I can. Right. And I feel like having talked to directors of board directors, you probably can get a little bit more than talking to the manager at McDonald's. Just my thought, just my experience in business. Not to invalidate anyone else's, but I do think that I still am waiting for somebody to name somebody black who y'all think did a good job for black people. That's wealthy.
We can separate this. You know, what's the Save America bill they just put out, the Biden $1.9 trillion bill. What's the name? You know the name of that bill?
Yeah, it's the Recovery Act, American Recovery Act.
The Indian community just secured I'm talking about the Native American Indian community. They just secured $30 billion of that. That's directly to them, right? Mm-hmm. Then they got little additives on every other portion of the bill. You know, you start talking about agriculture, they got their little hand in that pot. Mm-hmm. But $30 billion goes directly to them. Why? Because they have a full understanding of their ethnicity and their group, right? Mm-hmm. This is what we, i.e., want. We come to the table and we have these conversations. Because there is no.
So I still
ask. Grass.
I still ask. Then with no
standard.
standard.
Get reparations?
Who's the black part? That's a whole different
to answer
conversation.
Your question, I feel like you have to consider the fact that things that get done for black people happen on a different scale. You know what I mean? Like a wealthy black man helped me get to college and through college. Emmanuel Jackson.
Hold on, back up though. Did that count?
Absolutely.
Did that count?
Because he's not just me, but once it was a whole community of us that he was responsible for sending us
So
to
Jay
college.
got a scholarship fund and he's sending kids to school every year.
I'm
that
not
don't
saying
count?
that doesn't count, but I'm just answering your question.
Gotcha.
Emmanuel Jackson.
Thank you.
Look him up.
No, but that's my point, right? Like, that's my point. My point is you can't, until we got a standard, until we have a collective, until we got something, it's like we judging people against arbitrary standards that we make up based on our personal feelings or our personal standards. Again, where's the line? So if I got 10 million, do I got to give $1 million?
Or do you got to get 2.5 million?
Bingo.
Now here's a different dynamic, because I feel like if I brought up the name Jesse Jackson, what the consensus, I feel like the majority of people would say, nah, he wasn't good.
Yeah, I would not say that at all.
I wouldn't say that either.
Jesse Jackson has
I
changed.
know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. Yeah, but
on a
overall,
he
there's
puts
no way
his
you can.
hands in it, you know what I
Exactly.
mean?
There's no way you can say that.
Period.
But back
Now,
to what you were saying.
Then what's it to his reputation? Like, what does that count for in how we view him now? You feel me? Like, I feel like I hear more bad things about Jesse Jackson.
That's because
now.
you're young, though. And I don't want to minimize you because you're young. I think a couple things. Familiarity breeds contempt, right? So
But
here
what-
in Chicago.
But see, now you said because I'm young.
I said I took that back. No, I took that back, though.
Was the
That's
one
what I
that
said.
said F Jesse Jackson. You know
But
what I mean?
that's why I said I take it back, right? Like I caught myself in the initial just saying because you're young. I do think that what happens with Jesse Jackson is familiarity, right? What's my? You can't hear me?
Yeah.
Oh.
I ain't got headphones. I'm cheating.
Okay. Familiarity breeds contempt. And I think like when you go to my mother-in-law's house in Houston and you go to all them black people's houses in Houston, they got a picture of Jesse Jackson. Jesse Jackson got a picture at my mother-in-law's house that I don't got. And I think that there is over time, we've just been like, man, this dude has been in the news too much. But I don't think anybody can take away the contributions of Jesse Jackson. I think that is historical, and it's like we've allowed his legacy to slide off the cliff. Yo, fam, this is what I feel like.
Imaging and messaging dictates thought and behavior.
I'm with you.
Right?
But
so Jesse's commitment was to black folks. Hove's commitment is to wealth.
And that's what
I agree with
Yeah,
that.
and that's the point.
Projections is different.
See, now, does that mean that we don't applaud Jay?
But that's the point.
No,
Back
it
to
means
what
that we don't value blackness. We value wealth.
But that's what you were saying about who named
Which,
a person.
i.e.,
He
his
named the guy.
standard.
He named the guy that sent him to college, along with a bunch of other people that helped send him to college. But if you throw that name out to random people, who the hell is that?
Exactly. And so this is all I'm saying.
I couldn't name homie 5 minutes ago who just paid for everybody more.
Exactly.
Billionaire dude, I couldn't remember his name.
See, my only thing too is that I feel like if you applaud that, it doesn't necessarily mean that you value wealth over everything.
But most people value wealth over anything.
But that,
and
it's
either.
But I'm gonna go.
But that's human.
I'm gonna go a step further though.
doubt,
I don't even
no
think
doubt.
it's the wealth that we value. It's the celebrity we value. I.e., we would have been able to name homie.
Period. And
Or
if
we'd
he
have
was
been
whole,
able to name the other 17
That was the
billionaires.
hurdle.
Because the entertainment cats is the lowest cats on the totem pole.
But to me-
we know all their names. We all know all their lifestyles.
He has
We
no
know
value
everything
to
they
me, though.
engaged in.
That guy didn't. That's I can go with that, but I would also say that there is I got a personal connection with Hov, but that music was part of my life. Now, if I went to Morehouse, I bet you everybody at Morehouse know his name. But if you went to Morehouse, that's a big deal. If you went to U of I, we like, man, that ain't do shit for me. I appreciate you.
But see,
Great.
now, that's because that's not the truth.
What?
I feel like you saying that it didn't affect you, but if I feel like just on a personal level, I'm a product of what he did, then it is, and I'm here
Not
with
your
you.
Emmanuel Jackson.
No, but
I'm talking about the guy at Morehouse. No, 100%. But I'm saying my value, and even now, that guy that you just talked about, Emmanuel Jackson, has value to me because he got us all the way to here and made you
But
here.
even the other cat, he's pushing a group of black men
That I may
further,
never see.
but further.
Okay, we
You know
hope.
what I mean? But
I'm
you may
not-
see them. You know what I mean?
I don't debate that, but I'm saying where's the value? Is that enough? How much? That's all. And this is all I'm gonna say, right? And I think that, and I'm evolving to this point, right? It's part of the reason that I say I was a 7-day activist and I talked the Hotep smack or whatever, because what I have observed in that space is oftentimes we have a lot of pontification, but no real practical application of how it works out in real life, right? And I think we talk about capitalism, we talk about capitalism, socialism, all of those different things, but at the end of the day, it all usually comes down. It ain't altruism, it ain't my love of black people. At the end of the day, the determining factor for most black folks is the economics of it. Fact of the matter. People are doing a value assessment based on economics. The black stuff comes second, third, fourth, and fifth for almost everybody, because when your rent is due, nobody cares about how black you are. Nobody. If your rent is due, don't nobody care about blackness. They be like, man, I got to find me some green money to pay my capitalist bill. And so I just think we oftentimes try to hold people to standards that maybe aren't even realistic in the world that we live in. It's like we want black folks to be collective, and we ain't even got no collective understanding of each other yet. So, I don't know. It's just one of those things where I just feel like we
I
cannot.
think that's also a reflection of the conditioning, right? And I know this could go on all day long.
Yeah,
right.
Because I'm over here thinking about the Hotepness thing still, and I feel like that's more along the lines of eventually, however you feel about it, you're gonna have to go to where you're surrounded by like-minded individuals. You know what I mean? And I feel like the Hotepness is part of people getting mad when two makes the decision that I don't even want to talk to y'all no more. You know what I mean? Or is that you're at a level that I don't want to come down to. Somebody else is going to have to deal with that. Let me just talk to the people that feel how I feel. And I don't think that that's ignoring I don't think that's being too woke. You feel me? I don't think that that's being too woke.
I think you go to where you're most effective, right? I'm going to just tell you. Me going to O Block, I mean, it sounds great. That's not my space. That's not where I'm going to thrive. That's not where I'm going to do good for black folks. That's not my best opportunity. My best opportunity, real talk, is in the spaces that I've thrived in. Now you can minimize that because I didn't go because it don't have the cachet of being in the hood. But if you are, again, if we're employing people, if we are helping once that guy from O Block don't got nowhere to go because now we got a space and we have an accommodation in our mind that says we know he came from O Block, he ain't never had no job, so I got to make the accommodations. I got to pay extra money because he gonna come to work late because he don't know that that's supposed to happen. Nobody counts that, right? Like, and I just think that's why I always say, like, you don't know what anybody's personal sacrifice is. You just don't.
But also, and this is my last, because I know y'all gonna continue this conversation on I said what I said. Look. But it's interesting when you talk about the LeBron James versus Jalen Rose situation. It's like, bro, Jalen Rose has had a school in the middle inner city of Detroit for the longest, and nobody even cares.
I do.
Now, I can't say no cares, but exactly. Most people don't even know until he says it on Jalen and Jacoby or something.
Why is that? We gotta ask ourselves why.
I feel like
because he don't have a multi-million-dollar marketing machine behind him. That's just that simple.
Which is not feeding our community. Which is raping us back and forth. So, but just to get to the core, the crux of it, right? There's an African proverb says, the first half of a man's life is about generating wealth. The second half of a man's life is about giving it all back. How humanity sustains, right? So when we get to cheering and shit for this guy who made $6 billion, he really just stole from a bunch of poor people. It's nothing to cheer, G.
So who makes? I guess my question is: so when do you cheer? Like, do we cheer when?
Do we cheer? Should we cheer greed? Should we cheer greed?
I'm asking you what makes that greed?
Should we cheer greed?
I don't say that's greed.
Answer the question: should we cheer greed? Because once you get past X amount of money, it's just greed.
That's to me. Now you count my money, right? Like, don't put a break on what I can earn.
It's still greed. Okay, how you explain it away.
So if you say I need 100,000, I don't think it's greed. It's like I might want to buy a country,
which is greed.
Or I could want to be buying a homeland. Would that be greed?
Totally. I feel like it's totally greed. You know what I mean? And
so you can't be a billionaire.
He already told you he's a, what you call yourself?
I am a capitalist pig.
A capitalist pig.
And can I tell you what?
That the words go together. Greed.
But let me just also be clear though, right? As the capitalist pig, my whole premise is like my whole squad's supposed to do well, right? Like it ain't Maze just be straight. It is, man. If you look around, all of the people that we've ever had something with, even when we got the big deal, it's like, yo, cuz we doing this because we want you to be a part of this whole thing. My job is not to save the world. I can't save the world. I can't.
Hey, man, I just find it interesting that
baby!
Dame fell off. Dame had to go over there.
Mm-hmm.
Biggs had to go over there. Emery had to go over there. And everybody else in Rockefeller had to go over there. The Hove magically went over there.
Dame didn't go over there, though.
No, Dame went over there.
Dame went over there because he said, fuck that, right? I mean, Dame...
When he went in the Def Jam offices and said, y'all doing shit behind my back. Yeah.
Okay. I get that.
But see, now Hove has told Muggs his whole career, I am the one. You know what I mean?
I agree.
It's me.
Greedy.
Me. Okay? Hover.
And
me.
And I'm not...
What's my name? Hover.
I'm not even on that with Hove. Like, I'm just happy that people believe in Hove, and hopefully that can inspire them to do whatever it is that they aspire to do. I was never inspired by Hove. I was inspired by Nas, which is how this whole conversation... I aspire to be slick and wicked in my ways.
Okay.
Later down the line, when I had to grow up and become entrenched in business, and now we've been independently trying to succeed in life through self.
The goal of humanity has to get away from selfishness and get into selflessness. It just has to, bro. That's why capitalism eats itself every 80 to 100 years.
I'm just asking.
It's just like a catfish, right? You put a catfish in the
where's
goddamn
the government?
pond.
What government has survived?
Everything until there ain't nothing to eat. And you're going to die.
Which form of government has lasted?
American.
No, I'm just asking. Because, I mean, again, I'm asking you, what format of government has lasted? Was it socialism? Was it a monarchy? Was it a republic? I mean, again... we got to be telling, like, let's talk about it for real. Like, what form of government has not eaten itself? Tell me. I'm just saying. Tell me which form of government has not eaten itself.
The Bigs form of government.
And on that note, it seems like it's time for some I said what I said. Lil Ron trying to get his spot.
Shout out to Cuz for coming in and adding to the conversation.
Getting
man.
that mic hot.
Crossing over
Heating it up.
on the soil with Iz Wiz, man. I'm interested to hear what these guys got for the next 2.5 hours, man. We appreciate it. Maze chiming in. We appreciate Cuz. We appreciate the family members in the comments keeping the conversation going. And at the end of the day, man, it's still Nas over Hov. I still think Nas is a better rapper than Hov.
I wanted to respond to what you said. For all the discrepancies and debates about which type of,
I still think
the same problem.
Can we take a vote before we get out of here? All right.
I know y'all gonna be mad at me, but bar for bar, Roy's better than both of them.
Boo! Get your ass up outta here.
Allegory for a Grammy. Cuz is out of here.
Who you got? Hov, you got Nas.
I
Who
got
you got?
Nas.
There
You
it
got
is.
the diamond. I know you and the Rocker family, man. But hey, shout out to both of them guys, man. They inspired a whole generation. And again, it's all about.
They took over the Biggie and Tupac over Nas.
They did, and they kept it going. It's 25 plus years later. Those guys are still as relevant as possible, and hopefully, the next 25 years, we got more than two guys.
Oh yeah.
With the way hip hop has come, how far it's come.
It started with the Ghost and Ray clip. I thought that was very dope.
Epic. This is an epic show.
I thought that was dope.
Man,
this was a great mashup.
We appreciate everybody in the comments, man. We didn't get the word of the day today, so we will be back Wednesday with 2 words of the day. So I want y'all vocab to be ready when we come back, man.
Hey, till then, I'm T-Tom.
And you know what we say over here at the Bigs, man. Show love, spread love, stay away from the haters. Circulate the dollar with your people, man. Whether you call it our form of capitalism, black capitalism, man. Let's keep that moving.
Find you a black business person to spend some dollars.
Man, go buy you a $100 holler. We got something special coming up with the Bigs. I know Iz Wiz got their merch. But, man, most of all, continue to keep it player, man. There's a lot of unplayer individuals running around out here rampant. We might have to get back to the Deshaun Watson conversation on Wednesday because more allegations are coming up, man, and it just finds it. I don't get it, man. But until Wednesday.
We'll holler, it's us.
Hey, man, we out.
IFTBPM WIFTBPM
Live from What's in It for the Black Media Studio, you're listening to The Bigs with Eugene McIntosh and Terrence Tomlin.
Let's begin now.